Welcome to another edition of We Need to Talk About Movies. Brought to you by banterflix.com. And now, here's your host, Jim McLean.
Hello, I'm your host, Jim McLean. Welcome to the festive tradition on the Banterflix podcast that is our Christmas TV listings special. As we look through the best of what Freeview television has to offer, following on from last year, we are once again putting Freeview television to the test as we see if online streaming can offer a better choice. Yes, it can. It can, but just go with us for this hour or so as we try to prove that that's not the case, even though we know that online streaming can beat Freeview television. But it's all a bit of fun, kids. That's all it is. It's festive, it's fun. We're not like, the Conservative Party. We're not having Christmas parties and stuff. This is our type of fun, and this is good and socially distanced. But not only will Freeview TV be going head-to-head against online streaming, but following on last year, this is a three-way tie, because we are going to be putting Poundland's best. Once again, we are putting physical media. Remember those kids? Remember the back in the days we had to go out and get stuff, and if you wanted to watch it, but we are putting physical media to the test as we see, can DVDs beat Freeview television? Probably, let's be honest. But can they also go head-to-head against online streaming? So that's the setup. It's pretty much the same as last year. I'm having a lovely beer. I've already had a beer, so that's why I'm a bit more rambly than normal. But joining me on this pod is our reigning champion. He believes he's the reigning champion, so we're not going to argue with him, because who wants to argue with Bill Taylor from The Sixth Sense? So Bill, you are going to be representing online streaming choices. So how do you feel your chances this year of retaining your trophy? We were saying just before the recording, we think we need to create an actual trophy if this is going to continue to be an annual event. But how are you feeling about your chances this year, Bill?
Extremely confident.
Of course you are.
As always, it's online streaming. It's endless. What this choice of like 8 films probably gives is probably a little insight into my current mental thinking and state, more than, anything to do with Christmas. So
that's okay. That's good. I look forward to probing your cinematic psyche through these choices, and hopefully not just the first options that came available when you signed into your various streaming choices.
Absolutely not. How dare you suggest such a thing?
Bill, can you tell me what are the streaming choices? What are the streaming services of choice you will be delving from on this pod?
It's only 3. I only picked 3 out of God knows how many there is. Netflix, Disney Plus, and Now TV. Okay, all good. So as we say, we have some physical media here. So Joe McElroy, Banterflix's deputy editor. Last year, I don't really know how this really came about or where this idea came, but we decided that we needed to defend physical media because, you can kind of see behind me, I still do have the odd DVD and Blu-ray lying about. I have got a lot of online stuff. I have online streaming services. I do buy a lot of VOD stuff. But you, Joe, are going to be representing the T-Rex, the dinosaur that is physical media. And you have once again returned to Poundland. And you have, I'm sure, delivered 8 fantastic DVDs for us.
Well, every year it's getting increasingly difficult because physical media is dying a death. So this year, from the previous year, there were 3 shelves of DVDs, and this year there's only 1 shelf. So God knows how we're going to continue this in the next year, but we'll give it a go anyway. But you all laugh at this, but see when a solar flare hits and online streaming just dies, you'll all come crying to me looking for a copy of one of these fantastic DVDs. So it's all on you.
And the good thing is, Joe, because we were meant to give these away last year as a prize, but two things. A, nobody probably really wanted them. And B, we kind of forgot about them. So you not only do you have 8 DVDs, you've actually got about 16 from last year. You know,
I still have that dusty copy of Basic Instinct sitting on top of my wardrobe, just waiting for someone to, win as a prize.
Let's be honest, it's not dusty.
Well,
I
we'll not get
that's
into that.
dusty.
I was going to say I'll be round in 10 minutes to collect that prize, but anyway, let's not go there. Okay, so you just heard the voice of James Stafford from Talking Codswallop, because we have to have an impartial judge to make decisions. So James, this is your first time. I don't know. Is this your first time being a judge? You know, what has been your thought process throughout the day as you prepared for this role? I've already asked you before we started to record, are you open to bribes? What are you expecting from this little kind of experiment?
Well, obviously, thank you for having me on. I went through, you asked the question, what have I done for the day to prepare for this? I went through a period of real meditation and preparation for this, asking myself, where, could I make these sort of difficult choices? And upon reflection, I thought, yes, I could, because I work with two very challenging, in a positive way, people on the podcast. So I felt that I could bring my experience working on the celluloid Codswallop, judging films and talk about films. I felt I could do this. I felt I was prepared for it. I think really what I should have done is probably wore a black T-shirt or some sort of roll neck to look more like Simon Cowell. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I feel I will be impartial, unless people slide Wonga towards me. But, let's see how it all works out.
Can I ask, James, as you prepared, did you feel yourself in your head preparing for this role, this important role this evening? Did you have like a Rocky IV kind of montage going through your head of kind of decisions, pen marking and that type of stuff?
Mm-hmm. Completely. I played a recording of me being screamed at by Burgess Meredith over and over that I felt would give me the required focus for this. Being told that I was a bum, that I was worth nothing. And to really add to it, I also got a chicken and ran round my garden chasing it at high speed to really prep myself for it. And I ate a lot of raw eggs.
Yeah. Can I just ask the person that was calling you a bum and stuff, was that your podcast mistress, Joanne Alexander, formerly of this parish? Well, she's not formerly of this parish, she just hasn't been on for a while.
It was. I mean, she gets a lot out of abusing me. Possibly not as much as I get out of it, but it's a win-win scenario for both of us.
Is it though, James? That's the key question. And we should point out at this point that your co-host on Talking Codswallop,
my podcast wife,
your podcast wife, was meant to be on this because we didn't know if you could be trusted on your own. We thought we might have needed 2 judges on this. So your podcast wife, Gemma Williams, she was meant to be on, but she's feeling poorly, so she has entrusted you to be the face and voice of integrity on this recording.
Yes. And I feel that she's put her trust and faith in me is perfectly placed. I hope.
Yeah, I have faith in you. Don't worry. That money is in the post, though, James. That's all I can say. So, all right. So look, I think you've got the gist. So basically, we are going to run from Christmas Eve to New Year's Eve. I have went through each day and looked at Freeview television and see what that has to offer. I've picked my choice. I have tried when I can to move away from the film critic of choice, his pick on each day. I will say right now I am working from the Radio Times because it is a tradition in this house. It is not Christmas unless the Radio Times is in the house and every family member has pen marked everything that we all say we're going to watch and then never do. And never do. We all go, oh yeah, we'll watch this, and then we never watch it. So I am running from the Radio Times. I will say that the film critic of choice is Andrew Collins, and he has... I'll throw in some of his recommendations each day, and each day we'll go through that. I will make my choice, then we'll go to Bill, and then we will go to Joe. Now, in fairness, I thought it was fair. I know Joe's a bit aggrieved about it, But we thought, to add a bit of spice to things, because Freeview television is planned, things are at set times. Both Bill and Joe, they have made their choices, but they will be selecting a film at random. So Joe, let the listeners and let the viewers see your sexy Dunn's bag.
That's it. The £1 Dunn's carrier bag of delights with so many wonderful films dwelling within it, just waiting to be picked.
I can't wait, because I thought you did very, very well last year. You've mentioned Basic Instinct. That was up there. That was a perfect choice for over the festive period. Bill, I don't know how you working yours at random. Are you doing the dice again?
Dice, mate.
Bill's got his dice. So, that's that. So, that's the rules. That's the setup. Each day, we'll make our choice, and James decides the winner, and we'll see who's the winner at the end of this. So, I think, shall we crack straight in, and will we go to Christmas Eve?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So Christmas Eve, let's just go in a transgression just before we even get going. So we've said we're going to start. So James, since you're on the Christmas TV Listens Guide for the first time, talk me through your traditional. What goes on in your household at Christmas Eve? Do you have any big traditions? Anything like, what do you kind of usually find yourself getting up to?
Traditional wise, looking at it from a film perspective, there are things that I always will have to watch. So for me, the big sort of Christmas things are, I will watch Batman Returns. I will always watch It's a Wonderful Life, because I love that film. Joanne will kill me for that, because she detests that film. But and the 1984 version of Christmas Carol, the George C. Scott one, which to me is the closest you'll ever get to sort of like the book. And I've been lucky enough to meet people who worked on that.
It's not, James. I'm going to cut across you. The most definitive version of A Christmas Carol is A Muppets Christmas Carol.
Yeah, we're going to have to agree to disagree on that.
Charles Dickens thought of Kermit the Frog, Gonzo, when he wrote the book all those years. That's exactly what he thought.
Okay.
And that's already minus 1 point for Jim.
Yep.
Just jot that down.
Come at me, bro. But, the definitive version of I can't even call it A Christmas Carol. It's just, it's a Muppets Christmas Carol. It's our generation's It's a Wonderful Life. I love It's a Wonderful Life, but I also love A Muppets Christmas Carol. It makes me smile every time I watch it. And that is my go-to Christmas Carol.
It's all good if it makes you happy.
Yeah. Okay. I cut across you though. So those are the movies you're watching. I love the way you're trying to keep it on topic, James, for movies. You've never ventured into this pod before. We will be discussing Christmas dinners. And just a day.
That's fine. That's fine by me. I was just trying to keep you focused on it. But you want to go wild. So what would I do Christmas Eve? Let's see, obviously spending time with Dad. Meal wise, it's a bit of a tough one. It depends on what sort of stuff we've got in, but we will always generally sit down and have like a proper sort of meal on Christmas Eve. So I think this year we're doing duck, and we'll just see how things go from there. But yeah, that's generally sort of it. Very relaxed, not too much pressure. Might go out for a walk, depends how things are going, stuff like that really.
So the key thing I've also came across from that is you're not going out and getting your presents at Christmas Eve. You're organised.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I know that's a terrible mark against me, the fact that I'm not doing the chaotic shopping. But frankly, I just can't be asked for the stress of it. So I'm trying to get stuff done as far in advance as I can.
So depress me, James. When did you get your Christmas shopping done this year?
The large sort of bulk of it probably start December.
That's okay. I was waiting for you to say like August, July, and it's like, whoa, okay.
If only.
Yeah.
If only.
No one can be as organised as my wife. So, Bill, from previous pods, we know that Christmas Eve, you'll just be drunk.
I was going to say that I wouldn't be, but what's the point? We know the score. Yeah, pretty much.
We know the score.
Drunk, and then die hard, and that is Christmas Eve.
And then just waking up in the sofa on on Christmas morning about 4 o'clock and go, I better get to bed or Santa won't come.
It's like, why is this sofa in the garden on fire for me on it?
In just your pants.
Why are the police here?
Why don't you? Can I just suggest dress like McLean, vest, the whole thing.
Just the whole shebang. bleeding feet, the works.
There's a dead German in the garden who's fallen off the roof. If you're going to go all out, go all out. Like.
Yeah, every year, just Bill invites a random German round his house.
Push him off the roof.
It's your time. Go.
Yeah, off you go. Helmet.
My name is not Hans. All right, Hans, away you go. Okay, so yeah, we'll come back to this. We always feel that we're probing Bill's cinematic psyche, and just kind of these podcasts always feel like therapy whenever we talk with Bill and we get deep and meaningful. So Joe, I know kind of with COVID and stuff, you're doing things slightly different. You're down at your sister's this Christmas.
Yeah, down at my sister's because my family household, my younger sister. Unfortunately got COVID there, so they're all sort of isolating, but I'm going to be here with my sisters for the break. Usually on Christmas Eve, me and my mates would just exchange shitty presents with each other, and then it's traditional. How shitty
are we talking?
Oh, just like absolutely random stuff, like are
we talking Tapmas? Friends that we many years ago, group of friends and I, we used to do Tapmas. We used to find the tackiest thing that we could get. And that's what we go. But as they've got older and kids have got involved and haven't seen each other as much, Tapmas has sadly went by the wayside. So how tacky are we talking here, Joe?
Well, the thing is, it's more like something that there's a bit of an emotional attachment to, because for 3 years in a row, one of my mates got the biography of each RTE pundit. The classic lineup of like Bill O'Reilly and Eamon Dunphy and that there. He got the whole collection. He hasn't read any of them. They've just sat there. And one year, one of them got me Roger Moore's biography, but he signed it as Sean Connery, just as part of that Simpsons joke. So it's stuff like that there that we do, and it's just fantastic. But I don't know how that's going to play out, because I don't know how they are currently with this shite with COVID and that there. But we'll get something organised, and at worst comes to worst, we'll just watch it together across Zoom, jingle all the way. I don't know why they've ever picked that, and they've never ventured away from that, but it's just tradition and we'll have to watch it.
Anakin Skywalker has to get his gift.
Exactly. El Turbo Man.
Yeah. Anyway, right. So, Christmas Eve. Bill, I think as reigning champion, well, you think you're reigning champion. You're saying
champion, future champion.
You are just being the Donald. I say this is basically fake news, possibly alternative facts, but you're claiming you're the champion. So as a champion, I think you should go first.
All right. Well, I'm gonna give my dice a good old shake. All right. Roll, and I got a 3. So what 3? Number 3 is Gladiator on Netflix, and the reason I picked that is because I kind of like. I'm a big fan of historical gaming at the minute, and I'm sort of delving into a bit of the Roman stuff. But one of the guys in my gaming group has piqued my interest with a possible like gladiator skirmish game, not based on the film, but just gladiator combat. And it's like, okay, so that was kind of in my head when I saw that. And to be honest, it's a great film. This is probably Ridley Scott at his best, to be honest. There's so much good stuff. The fight scenes in that are just absolutely incredible. I love it. Although you do have Joaquin Phoenix in it being a bit of a Looney Tune, but Russell Crowe is fantastic.
Yeah, and Ollie Reed, the late great Ollie Reed.
That's his last film.
And there's sequences there. I haven't watched it in a while, but I know there's a lot of stuff that they did. It was the kind of like cutting edge at the time with after he had passed.
The digital face and stuff like that. To be honest, I can't tell.
Same here. That's what I was going to say.
I can't tell where they've actually CGI'd his face. I just can't tell.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things I really like about that film.
Yeah.
I think it's like 2.5 hour epic. I've actually got a really funny story about that film. We used to have neighbours that were literally at it morning, noon, and night, and we'd hear them through the wall.
Bill, can we clarify here just for our listeners? When you say at it, is this kind of like boom chicka wow wow or okay?
Yep. She was extremely vocal about it. But there was one night, one night, I'd maybe had one or two Guinnesses too much. I was just sick of this. I was sick. I was just sick of listening to this, and I was watching Gladiator at the time, and I had this brand new surround sound system, and I thought, fuck it, I just put the bastard thing up to full blast and drowned them out. But it was the music. Dun, 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 dun. It was just class. I didn't hear them.
They weren't trying to keep in rhythm with it.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe you were just encouraging them.
Yeah, sped things up a bit.
Yeah.
Just knocked on their door the next day. Are you not entertained?
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. That's my choice, Gladiator.
At the end of that film, that night, Bill, did you just enjoy the closing credits with a nice little cigarette? Did you feel you earned it that night?
Yep.
Was it good for you too?
It's always good, baby.
Shall we watch it? Shall we watch it again? Let's go. Okay. I'm done. Okay.
No round two.
No. Okay. So, Gladiator. I don't know. I came in this very cocky. So I'm looking at Freeview TV. And I have to say, in all the years that we've been doing, this is about the 9th year we've done this as a little thing. Maybe 8th year, we've done this. And I always defend Freeview TV, but this year I have to admit, it's not amazing. It's not great. There's a couple of good choices, and I've got them in. So, like, it's not good when Andrew Collins' pick of the day for Christmas Eve is the original Home Alone, right? So, that's the bar I have to try and beat. And I've thought about this. Now, there's a couple of good choices. You could go for The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly on the Paramount Network at 9 p.m. Good choice. I know it's something Joe would definitely go for. I'm moving away from Christmas movies, so there's stuff like Elf and stuff there. It's a Wonderful Life, which I know James has mentioned. Frozen, if you're a parent, you're going to be sick to your teeth of hearing that, or watching that, and you just be like, let it go, you'll be sick to that. But I've thought, right, this is my strategy. So, Christmas Eve, you're getting the family around, you want to forget all your worries about the COVID pandemic and Omicron and everything like that. So why not on Channel 5 at 6:25, Outbreak. Just watch Outbreak, you know.
Somebody with a very, very good sense of humour has clearly been doing the planning for that, haven't they?
I watched...
Christmas, here's a monkey spitting on you.
Yeah. Now, sadly, it's not Outbreak 2, the Outbreak 2 that we were promised from Friends.
The monkey takes Manhattan.
Yeah. So, that is my choice. I am going with a bit of Dustin Hoffman, Rennie Russo, and Outbreak, and Cuba Gooding Jr., I think, if I remember. And there is the small matter of Kevin Spacey. But I have been assured by 5-star...
He's not Patient Zero, though, so it's okay.
No,
you see him die in his blood out of his eyes and stuff. It's all good.
Yeah, but in this version that 5-star are going to be showing, Christopher Plummer is actually playing the role of Kevin Spacey. So that's what I've got. I've went with the new Ridley Scott remix of Outbreak. The late great Christopher Plummer has taken over the role of Kevin Spacey. So forget about the pandemic, forget about COVID. Tune in to Outbreak. If you need to wrap some presents, 6:25 to 9 p.m. Have a mulled wine and just think, isn't this all? How surreal this all feels. Yes. Anyway, so Dustin Hoffman will save the day. So that's my choice, Joe. I don't know if we've lost you, Joe, visually.
You seem to be a static image, Joe.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm moving. Do you see me?
No.
Am I moving?
Oh, you're still just
Well, do you hear me anyway?
We can hear you.
Right. Well, hang on. Maybe if I flip the camera on and off for a second. It's just, I just want to make sure, you don't think I'm cheating.
No, we trust you. We trust you.
But anyway. Yeah. Well, it's not really cheating when there's fuck all to pick from. But, right. I'm rummaging the bag here. And what do I have? I have the Michael Mann great Collateral.
Oh,
Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx. Well, what can I say about it? It's probably the best Tom Cruise has ever been, I think, in my opinion. Just as the cold assassin Vincent, Jamie Foxx is really good in it. Jada Pinkett Smith's good. It's got a cracking wee score and soundtrack in it, and just Michael Mann being Michael Mann. What more do you want? except maybe Heat, but they didn't have Heat in Poundland, so I had to stick with Collateral. But yeah, my pick, Collateral.
Okay, that's a good choice. It's a good film. I watched it recently. I think it was on TV recently. And like Collateral is like one of those films you'll always find late night on Film 4 or ITV2, one of those channels type of thing. If it's not Shawshank Redemption on ITV2, it's probably something like that. So, yeah, James, this now is the point you have to mull over and make your decision now.
I respect all the wonderful choices that have come to us. I do actually like all these films, but just for the sheer weirdness of the situation, I think I'm going to have to go with Outbreak. Just for the fact that, you know, we're in the middle of a pandemic. It just seems that some really, really sick person has done the scheduling. Sick sense of humour. So it's going to be, you know, going with the proper Gladiator thing. It's, you know, it's a thumbs down for everything else, but a thumbs up for the Outbreak. Only because...
Outbreak's not going to speed up anybody's lovemaking, let's be honest.
It's only just because I just think there's someone with a really dark, twisted sense of humour has been doing the schedule, so that's why I've gone with that one.
James, the terrifying thing is, imagine if they just put it on and someone's like, you're going to put Outbreak on Christmas Eve. Like, that's a bit on the nose. Like, what? Why? It's like, yeah. Where have you been the last 2 years? Like, just like Dustin Hoffman?
Well, or it'd be like Jared Leto when he was filming the Morbius film, and he said he'd been so completely out of the loop that he came out and he's like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah. Someone's also got to tell it to that programmer at 5-star about Kevin Spacey, but let's not go there.
That programmer probably doesn't have a job anymore.
That's his that was his last little fuck you to 5-star. I'm gonna put Outbreak on. Okay, so it's starting well. Hopefully, I'm not going to peak too soon. I think I've strategized well here. I think I've strategized well. So that's Christmas Eve. So Christmas Day. So I get. With the TV guide, what I always try to do, I try to be realistic. So anything that I've picked is something that I think I will actually watch. So there's no point in me saying, oh yeah, I'll watch.
Jim, can I just ask, it's not the Morecambe and Wise Christmas special, is it, that they stick on every single year on a channel somewhere?
It'll probably be watched, James, at some point. That will probably be watched. 2 Ronnies, yeah. Can't go wrong. I will probably at some point watch, because my mum's going to come up to our house for Christmas, and it's that dreaded thing of when no one can decide what to watch, and it's like BBC 2 at about 7 or 8 o'clock, and you go, if I give in and let her put on the soaps, it's going to be all downhill. So we'll watch Morecambe and Wise, and it'll be like, I like Morecambe and Wise. I like Morecambe and Wise, so nothing wrong there. But, yeah, so I've tried to be realistic. So as I am currently in the lead, I will go first. And so as I won the last day for Christmas Eve, I will go first in this one. So I have been realistic. Loads of choices. A couple of good films, I have to say, I'll throw out here. And this will become a thread for me if and where I can. I will try to go for the Beeb if I can, because there's no ad breaks. Because particularly like, spoiler, I didn't pick it. Like stuff like Spectres on New Year's Eve. Like a Bond film's always on New Year's Eve on ITV. And it's too long with ad breaks. So I've tried to stick with the Beeb where I can. But this is one of the days I haven't. I've went with Film 4 at 9 o'clock in the evening. Because realistically, presents have been opened, dinner's been on. I'm going to be in front of the sofa, on the sofa, in front of the TV, 10 Equality Street somewhere, probably a beer or something, and 2 just full of food to move. So there's no point in me picking stuff that's earlier on the day. I know that we had Avian Henry on the TV show. She picked a movie for Christmas Day. She picked Megamind at 9:40 in the morning on E4. I'm not going to be up at 9:40 in the morning on Christmas Day. I'm having a lie-in. I have no kids. So, you know, I've gone from having to get up at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to wake them up. Loads of kids' movies on. I've stayed away from Christmas movies because technically now Christmas is over, so I don't want to watch Christmas movies. I will watch Christmas movies in the run-up to Christmas. Christmas Eve, I'll jam a few in. Christmas Day, it's like, no, so it's too late to watch It's a Wonderful Life and stuff for me at that point. But there is a good few choices. I will give an honourable mention. If you've never seen it, and it is Andrew Collins, one of his picks of the day, Their Finest. with Bill Nighy and I can't remember the name of the actress. I'm going to have to very quickly spin through this. It's Gemma Arterton. It's an absolutely fab film. If you've never seen Their Finest, it is just a great film, but it's not what I've picked. The other film they've picked is Mary Poppins Returns. That's at 3:10. I'm going to be at my dinner at that point. No point in me picking it. So I went realistic. I have went for, on Christmas Day, 9 o'clock, film 4, John Wick, Chapter 3, Parabellum, baby. It's Parabellum, baby. I'm going to be full of chocolate, full of food. I'm going to have chocolate, going to have beer. What'll I want to watch? Keanu Reeves kicking ass. So whoever wants to go next, either Bill or Joe, try and beat that, kids.
Well, I'll give you a good story about when I went to see John Wick 3 in the cinema. It was one of the best experiences. I think I've told you about this before, Jim. It was like opening night and everyone was up for it and there was a bit of cheering, in the opening fight scenes. And it's the scene where he slaps the horse in its hind leg and it kicks someone and kills him. Some fella just literally stood up and clapped and went, "Here we fucking go." And the whole audience just erupted and there was like, it never peaked beyond that there. That was just the moment,
Joe,
like, this is...
Joe, can I just ask, were you in the same cinema screening as Bill Taylor at that point? That sounds like something Bill Taylor...
Could have very well been.
Yeah, Bill Taylor has a habit of standing up and shouting things out at cinema screens, but, I don't know if Bill wants to go back into that kind of terrible...
Don't remind me. Remind me. Come on.
The terrible days of Star Wars and the Empire's failure to once again just get a railing. Just get a railing up and nothing would have happened. So Parabellum, I do remember, I think you've told that story in the pub before, but you're just doing what I do, Joe. Just do what I do, Joe. Just keep retelling them. Just keep retelling, keep retelling the same jokes over and over again. And, I'll tell everybody for the 15th, 16th time, hey guys, do you ever know that I actually had to be removed from the cinema at Ghostbusters 2? All the big hitters. Did you know I made my own version of Ghostbusters 3? Just keep telling that story. That's what I do. That's the secret of my non-success, Joe. So keep telling that story and don't be ashamed is what I'm saying.
I support that, Joe, because I keep telling the same ghost story, even though I've been banned from telling it over and over again, but I will die on that hill.
Yeah. Just die on it. Yeah, go for it. So what are you picking, Joe? What are you going to rival up for John Wick Chapter 3?
Let's rummage and see what can beat Keanu here. Okay, it's a bit of a change of pace. Going with comedy this time, and there's something about Mary. Farley brothers, when they were at their peak. I haven't seen it in years, but I remember watching it constantly when I was younger, and it's just an absolute rip throughout. I don't know how well it's aged, but I'm hoping not too badly or poorly. But no, I absolutely loved it when I was younger, and it's just a laugh a minute.
Yeah,
right from when the zipper goes south, as it were. It's it's all laughs from there.
Yeah. I love There's Something About Mary. I haven't watched it in a long, long time, so I'm sure there's many a thing in it. It's like, oh no. When you watch a film you love when you were young and you go, oh no, that hasn't aged well. Oh no. But no, I'm going to stick by. I would say There's Something About Mary. I would say there's still laughs to be had there. There's violence against a dog. What can go wrong there?
The resuscitation with a lamp. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
True, the Frank and the Beans problem. So
yeah.
Warren, I forgot about Warren.
Oh no.
Oh no. Can I retract my choice?
No, you have to stick with it. Bill, what are you going to serve up with this for streaming? What are you going to say is going to beat this?
Right, I need to roll the old dice here. What do we got? We got a 5 and a 2 as a 7. Right. Another round on Now TV. Now, one of the reasons why I picked this is because I'm a big fan of Mads Mikkelsen because of, Hannibal TV show, but mainly hit my radar because he's now Star Wars. He was Galen Erso in Rogue One, which is definitely the best Star Wars film of the last, I'm going to say 15 years. And yeah, that's a hill I'll die on.
I've evidence to back it up as well. But it's an interesting film. I mean, the director is Thomas Vinterberg, and I sort of got to know Thomas Vinterberg, not personally, but I knew of his work maybe definitely about 22 years ago, whenever I was first sort of thinking about studying film. And it was him and Lars von Trier that they started the Dogma movement, which was basically keep things minimal in terms of filmmaking and technical stuff, and focus on the story and the plot. And Lars von Trier went one direction with The Idiots, which is it's a pretty good film, but it's fucked up. And Vinterberg actually he crafted this lovely story called Festen, which is, in English it's celebration, and it's basically a family get together at some castle to celebrate the life of the father of the family, and just all sorts of secrets and all sorts of stuff fall out of this. And it's just always stuck with me, and sort of, like I say, I know nothing about this another round. I think the premise of the film is these guys, they're getting older and they want to see if they can make life better by staying a little bit tipsy the whole time, which kind of, it appeals to me.
Well, this is where we should allow, I don't know, maybe Joe won't want to weigh in because he feels that it possibly might be leading our judge, but I know, Joe, you have seen Another Round and you're a massive fan of this film.
I have several positive opinions when it comes to Another Round, but for the sake of this pod, I'm going to save said opinions until the recording finishes. But it's a choice Bill made. That's as much as I'm going to say about it.
It happened.
No, exactly, it happened. He seen it listed. He thought that sounds good. I'll pick that. And I would say it's a good choice, Bill. But who knows? Really,
who knows?
You know if it is actually good or not.
Well, the only person who knows is our judge. So, James Stafford, it's over to you, good sir, once again.
Now, you've really hit me with some difficult choices here, because I actually like the sound of all of these films. But I'm going to have to go with, in my case, The Unknown, which would be Bill's choice. Because it sounds like the other films I've seen, the films I know of, but I like the idea of what you've said. Was it Another Round it's called, isn't it? I do like that idea. I think it'd be something that'd be quite interesting to see. And at Christmas, it's probably not something you would immediately be attracted to seeing. You might want to see something that's a bit more happy and go lucky, like something about Mary. And if you've had a really bad Christmas, you might want to watch John Wick to work the anger out. But I do think that is I like the sound of that, Another Round. It sounds good. I'm going to ask you a question, Bill. Would it make me cry?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Joe has definitely.
Joe's seen it.
Joe, would I cry?
Okay, since you picked it, it's a bloody brilliant film, and it's probably my favourite film that was released this year. And yes, there are certain scenes that will make you cry. It's a good sort of. Well, the thing is, it's one of those films. What you bring to it is what you'll get from it. I find it to be a bit of a life-affirming film, and there are moments in it that are quite emotional, and you probably will cry at it. But it's just bloody fantastic, and it's got the best ending I've seen of a film in years. And like the best final scene.
We also have the American remake with Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't know if he's starring it, but he's definitely producing it. He's definitely producing it. Danish. Yeah.
It's very Danish. I don't know how you'll interpret it for American audiences. So no, saw that. Leo can go and fuck.
You heard it here first, Leo. Fight and talk, if ever there was. Another Round is definitely on one of my list of missed connections this year, along with June. I still haven't had a chance to see June. I foolishly held out when the Cineworld was going to reopen. It has an IMAX screen. They'll do at least one screening of June on the IMAX screen. I'll hold off for the biggest of big screens, and no, they're just showing Spider-Man. Rightfully so.
They're all going on now about, is it the 4D experience, where it's like on different screens all over the show, and I've never...
They just chuck sand at you the whole time.
Yeah.
And you get the smell.
Nah.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
I don't need to leave.
Yeah. There's a massive worm attack you when you... At least
Just doused in spices as you go through the door.
I don't need to leave my own sofa to get the experience of the smell, so I'll watch at home. And I am not going to allow myself to watch. I know June's available now to rent, premium rental. I might give in over Christmas if TV's really shit. But as I will say right now, TV is not shit because I've went through the list of everything to watch. But if I do find myself giving in, I really don't want to watch it for the first time. But it was I waited, I placed my bets. I said, they're going to open an IMAX in Belfast. They're bound to at least one night show it because it was shot, I think, specifically, or it definitely was shot forward with IMAX cameras. And no, they're just going to do every single screening in Spider-Man No Way Home. And I might go see it again. I don't know. I don't know about going to cinema over Christmas period at the minute with everything with the Omicron variant. I'm trying to stay at home as much as I can. But anyway, that's enough of that. But yes, Another Round is one of my misconnections. So that brings us then, we are at Boxing Day, or Stephen's Day for our Irish listeners, if we so wish, just to be cross community. So we're currently sitting at 1-1. Joe's lagging behind. Bill and I are currently tied in first place. Bill, as you won the last day, you get to get the ball rolling, and can we see? This is the point where I can then strategize to see, can I beat what Bill has?
Hi. Oh, hi. So that's a 5. Oh, fuck. What a cracker. This is a Disney Plus one. I actually watched it last week, but I might watch it again. It is that good. And it is Tombstone. Since Disney opened up their whole star section, and they're throwing all sorts of films on there.
The Vaults.
Tombstone is...
The Vaults, yeah.
Tombstone is just, to me, I mean, I remember that, that film's 25, probably older, 25, 26,
Isn't
27 years old.
Val Kilmer,
Val Kilmer is Doc Holliday. It's Kurt Russell is Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
Bill Paxton is his brother, not Virgil. The other one, Virgil, is Sam Elliott. And it's just, as a modern Western goes, it's probably right up there as, I just love the story. Just everything about it is just fantastic. You've got a great cast, great story, great action, great set pieces. The music is fantastic. It's just great. And you've got so many, the bad guys are known as the Cowboys, and it's like, it's class. Because Michael Biehn is one of the bad guys. He's Johnny Ringo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See, I've got a problem now because I'm already really sold on that. So
have you not seen Tombstone? Have you never seen it?
I know. That's what I mean. Sold on it because I've seen it. I have really good
so
memories
good.
of watching it.
Yeah,
I'm afraid, guys, you're gonna have to really wow me with something.
Yep.
Bill could have done it already and hit me with something that's so good.
Somebody get your podcast wife on. Somebody get Gemma Williams on. get her on to say me.
But if it's controlling and abuse, shouldn't you get Joanne on?
No, because we want to keep some level of decorum on.
Yeah. We want to keep it down between 5 and 10 innuendos.
Yeah,
to be fair,
not off the charts.
No, yeah, true. Okay,
Yeah,
fair point.
We don't want the innuendo machine to just explode.
There is always a number problem with Joanne, I'm going to be honest, because whenever I say to her, I want you to review this film, give me marks out of 5, she always gives me marks out of 10. So,
Okay. I will remember that for the next time we have Joanne on. Okay, so, I don't know, Joe, do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
That's watching one muchness. Mine's completely random, but yours is preset, so go on ahead.
Well, this is one of there was 3 films here I will say I was going to pick from. I was tempted to go for the family choice and go with Paddington on BBC One at 4:20. I love Paddington, but I love Paddington 2 more. I adore Paddington 2. I just think it's one of those few sequels that actually surpasses the original. Hugh Grant is outstanding in it. Nicole Kidman's good in the first Paddington. She's okay. I was tempted to maybe go with a bit of Mission Impossible Fallout, 9 p.m. on Film 4, Tom Cruise, Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill just showing that he can be, even though he's the baddie, spoiler, and he's got a sexy moustache that pretty much destroyed the DC franchise before it really got going. It's my frustration with Henry Cavill. Anytime I see him in anything that's not Superman, or anything that's not a DC property, he comes across as being ultra charismatic. He's sexy. As Bill famously said on a previous podcast, Henry Cavill saved lives during the pandemic. He's a big sexy geek and he wears it with pride. I don't particularly like The Witcher. I'm sorry. I've tried to get into it, but I like the game. I just don't like the series. But I was tempted. But since Bill's went big, I think there's only one thing. There's only 2 words that can possibly even come close to Tombstone.
I was going to stop you on one thing. When you mentioned Cavill, he's the guy I want for the next James Bond.
Oh.
Because he was the runner-up to Daniel Craig.
I think he's too old now. I wouldn't mind him as Bond at all. I just think for when you think of the like, what is it, every 2-3 years you're getting those films getting made, unless they ramp up. I know that with Daniel Craig's tenure, we had the problem with Quantum of Solace, with the writer's strike, and then we had the pandemic, and then I know Craig injured himself as well on No Time to Die, which held up a lot of things. I think you've got to go younger than Henry Cavill. I if you turn around and said to me he had been cast, I wouldn't be disappointed. I just think he's probably too old now, and I kind of want to see him doing one more turn as Man of Steel. I want to get him to do a Man of Steel and just go, yep, this is what I've been saying. That he looks the part, it's just whenever he opens his mouth and he talks, he's just a big boring bastard. That's the technical term. The
irony, though, is if you're saying about him potentially being too old and you want somebody younger, that's one of the things that went against him when they looked at originally casting him.
Yeah.
For Bond, they were saying that he was too young.
Yeah.
But, it's unless I can, still get the power of persuading the Broccoli's, which ain't going to happen anytime soon, is it?
Who knows? Maybe Barbara's watching. Maybe she's not got anything else. I don't know. I mean, well, hang on. I'll give my choice, and we will come back to the Bond discussion, and then we'll go on that transgression. So the 2 words I'm going with on Channel 5, 10 p.m. It's part of a sexy Patrick Swayze double bill that night. Channel 5 have served up. They're doing Dirty Dancing at 8 p.m. The only film I think can come close, for all its cheesy gloriness, is 10 p.m. Channel 5. St. Stephen's Day, Roadhouse. And I love Roadhouse. The only thing I could say, because realistically, John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum, Christmas Day, I will have probably had a couple of beers. Boxing Day, I might not, because I'll be going back to work on the Monday, sadly. So I don't think I'll be doing a late one, but if ever there was a film, you could just sit back and enjoy, have a couple of beers, and just glory in Swayze in all his sexy questioning. Oh, what are these feelings, Patrick? Oh, what are these feelings I've got towards you? So yes, Roadhouse, Channel 5. That's the only thing I can weigh up here. Joe, what are you gonna serve up?
I do like the fact that you give me 2 quite violent choices here.
Yeah.
So Joe, the pressure's on now. You're either gonna have to go uber violent, or you're gonna have to go really nice.
Oh God, I don't even. We'll see anyway. What do I have? Well, it's one that's already come up, and it's going to come up again. Unfortunately, it's Gladiator. Now, I always found it was more of a Boxing Day film than a Christmas Eve film. But that's just me speaking. Sort of just to reiterate everything Bill was saying about it. It's got. Well, that's me. Bill pulled it perfectly. How do you go? How do you go any further? Like
Joe, what you need to do is post that DVD to Bill and let Bill slip it in under his neighbour's letterbox.
I got it.
And no, I'm gonna send him the soundtrack instead.
Yeah,
soundtrack's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer
coming to the fore. Yeah. Well, there you go. It's what Bill's lacked. This is what I have. Mine's the Spectacular 2-disc DVD.
Ooh.
So there's an extra. No, you're getting extra here. You're getting director's commentary. You're getting 25 minutes of a making of featurette along with deleted scenes, Lucius's productional journal. I don't know who Lucius is. Storyboard comparisons and much, much more. So to find out what much, much more is, you'll have to pick this, James. There's no two ways about it.
What I love,
widescreen.
I imagine that director's commentary of just, this is what I love and adore about Ridley Scott, just kind of going, see that bit? That bit was fucking brilliant. That bit.
I just want someone to try and interview him.
Yeah, go on. Sorry, Joe.
No, I was just going to say I just wanted someone to try and interview him in the middle of commentary, and he'll just tell him to fuck off. It worked so well for The Last Duel, so why not?
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of hope that if there's a director's commentary from Ridley Scott from that period, he's going to be less angry than he is now. No, you don't think so?
No.
So he was an angry old man then, even when he wasn't old.
Yeah.
Well,
so
he would have been 60-ish then.
He would have been angry then. Joe, I think, was it in the WhatsApp group you sent us the thing with Ridley Scott? Was it from Alien? And his disagreements with the editor of the film? I can't remember. Maybe I'm completely...
Oh, yeah, he was saying... it was something like that there, because Alien used a lot of handheld shots, and it's to go through the Nostromo, and he was saying, oh, isn't this going to be difficult to edit? And he was like, no, it's going to fucking work.
So that was a young Ridley Scott, James, so just imagine how angry he's got over the years.
But can you imagine
too many efforts been in?
The real fun, if you actually tried to do a combination film for angry people, of getting him and Jim Cameron to make a film together, the rage that would be produced would just be unbelievable. Yeah, that's
they
true.
Almost did. Before Alien vs. Predator, they wanted to make Alien 5.
Yeah.
Get Van Morrison to do the soundtrack.
These xenomorphs are very dangerous.
And Eamon Holmes can present it. Because
it'd be glorious. I mean, there'd be many, many deaths, I suspect, on set, and it'd just be constant production hell. But I would love to just see how that'd pan out. And also, if you can throw Christian Bale in, because he gets angry about stuff, give him a starring role.
He only gets angry about lighting. That's really it. That's all.
The rage would be, it'd run a nuclear power station.
That's just what the film is just going to be called. I know Carrie 2, wasn't it Carrie 2? The Rage, I think. That's just what it's going to be called. Just The Rage. Directed by Ridley
Alien
Scott.
Rage.
Yeah, so there we go, James. You've got some choices. Gladiator wasn't good enough for you first time round. Will it be better second time round now with added director's commentary? Are you going to go for the sexy sways? Or are you going to go for Tombstone? I feel I know where you're going to go in this, but...
I feel bad, but it's going to be Tombstone. Because Now, the problem I have with the reason I've chosen it, not against the others, it's nothing against the other choices, is just that Kurt Russell's a badass. And he's a uber badass in that film. And
he wasn't always a badass. He used to be Mr. Disney. But you've got John Carpenter to thank for that.
Yeah. But definitely. I mean, Tombstone, I just have memories of watching that, being blown away by it. Just amazed by the whole way it was shot, the acting in it. So it's going to be Tombstone. So don't feel too persecuted, Joe. You can pull this out of the bag.
How many more copies of Gladiator, Joe, have you got?
Well, I have the single disc edition in here.
The treble disc edition.
with personalised autograph from Ridley Scott. Just says "fuck off" on it.
Stop bothering me and fuck off.
I tell you what, they can make a film about Ridley and just get Brian Cox to play him. Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah,
I'd pay to see that. I would happily pay to see it. So before we move on, so Bond. So James, you're still sticking. You're thinking Al Henry is good for you for the next Bond.
I would like to see Henry Cavill with it, and I think the fact that he came so close to getting the role, I just think he'd be an interesting choice. And I think he'd be good at doing it. But as to how the chips will fall, I've no idea. I feel you may be on something when you say that they may pick somebody younger. Although I really think Henry Cavill is younger than I am, which makes me feel very uncomfortable. It's like what you say earlier about working the age of people out. Ugh.
I heard somebody mention, I don't know whether it's just in the run-up to the release of Belfast, but a couple of people have been giving out Jamie Dornan, a bit of a kind of possibility for Bond. I could say, I wouldn't be my choice, but again, if he was cast, I don't think I wouldn't be kind of going, oh, for fuck's sake. I don't mind Al Jamie. I've had the privilege to bump into him. Not really, I've interviewed him through NVTV, not for filmy stuff, but more for kind of the charity stuff that he does, because I know he's very close to that. And, I think it's from memory. It's been a while. I think it was the cancer ward, because I think his mother passed away from cancer. And I know his father passed away earlier this year, I think, or maybe late last year. I have a lot of time for Jimmy. I'm actually one of the few people that is really looking forward to Belfast, because it looks so sugary sweet. I know Judi Dench's accent sounds atrocious, but I like Sir Kenneth Branagh. I like Sir Ken, so what can I say? But if he was cast, I wouldn't mind. But if I was going to throw my my two choices I would throw in, if you're still listening, I would go, because was it Joe you mentioned earlier on, you had Roger Moore's autobiography signed by Sir Sean
Connery.
Yeah.
After he died, so I don't know how he signed it.
In a dusty manner, probably.
Because life finds a way. Life finds a way, Joe. But I would go, if I want to bring some of the Roger Moore charm back to the Bond franchise, because that's what it's lacking. We've had this ultra-realistic, we've had this Bond that has loved and lost and died. But we'll not talk about we'll not talk about that.
Don't spoil it for this.
No.
People
Look,
who died?
Yeah,
it says then the credits, James Bond will return. It says that, so we know that.
Yes.
But I thought about this and threw a bit of diversity in. I would quite like to see someone like Henry Golding as Bond, just because I think he's the only person with an eyebrow that possibly could rival Roger Moore's. I think because Roger Moore's eyebrows deserved kind of like an supporting credit on the Bond franchise. You missed Mr. Bond. Did I? His eyebrows deserved an acting credit, so I thought Henry Golding, or if I was going to throw another one, Aidan Turner, I think, because I think he's slightly younger, and I remember watching him a couple of years ago. Was it BBC, like Agatha Christie? I think it was Then There Was None, or I can't remember what it's called. And I thought he looked the part, and he's a bit hot for the mums. They all like him in Poldark doing his kind of stuff, with his big tool.
Scything,
that's the word. I just couldn't think.
Yes.
I couldn't think of the words, James. So Bill,
you
Joe,
just
you
thinking big tool, which you wouldn't go there.
Yeah. Big Aidan Turner's big tool. Ooh. I feel like I need to call round to your neighbours now, Bill. But say no more.
Oh, they're gone now.
Are they? Bill, Joe, I know we've let ourselves get distracted, but any choices you'd have for Bond?
Matthew Good, maybe.
I've heard his name's mentioned.
I know. I've always been the opinion Fassbender. Still am in a way.
Too old.
But
an interesting one on Fassbender is they did a comic book adaptation of, I want to say it was Casino Royale, and they drew it using his likeness.
Right. No, I must actually suss that out just to see what that's like.
My mum will definitely go see it if Fassbender's going to be Bond, but we'll not rake over those coals with my mother's obsession with Al Michael. So interesting choices. I don't know. I genuinely don't know, and I think when you look back at when Pierce gave up, nobody thought Daniel Craig. So Barbara Broccoli.
I wouldn't have seen Daniel Craig at all. I remember when they were getting around to release it to put him out, and on the day when they mentioned who it is, and it already kind of leaked, hadn't it? Because I think it spoke to his mother or somebing, somebody in the press. And I was like, I can't see it. Yeah, can't see it, but I was wrong. So,
Yeah, there we go. So Barbara Broccoli, the Broccoli's, they know what they're doing. So she'll have someone that it'll be someone we've never even thought of. Christopher Biggins. That's who it'll be.
Tom Holland.
Yeah.
There you go. He wants the
God,
job.
no.
Biggins.
The Rock wants it as
no,
well.
Biggins makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
Biggins does make sense.
You've had a young Bond, you've had a middle-aged Bond. Just go an old Bond who's just bitter and slightly camp. I would go, or just get Dalton back. Just let Dalton get an older Bond.
Sold.
Yeah, there we go.
Because I think Timothy Dalton is the best Bond ever, and as I've told you, Jim, I want him as Lex Luthor.
Good. Yeah. All can say it. So there we go. So we'll not let ourselves go any further down transgressions, because we will have transgressions in the latest pod. So we're now, where are we? We are at Monday the 27th. We're at now. Bill Taylor, it's starting to look ominous. It's like when it gets to that stage in the Eurovision when you kind of go, they're gonna win.
Oh,
yeah.
Right, here we go. Roll the dice. Ooh, 2. Oh, double 1.
Gladiator. It's going to be Gladiator again, isn't it?
It's not Gladiator. It is.
It's extra romance.
Netflix, and it's one of the films that it's a Tarantino film. I watched it again not so recently and thought it was very, very good, very underrated. And at the minute, I'm kind of studying it a wee bit. I've been reading a lot about it, and I'm waiting on Santa to give me the Blu-ray with all the special features and everything and special edition. So I might actually be watching this, but not on Netflix. And it's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Come on.
Film. That is a good film.
I think it's a very underrated film. I like what Tarantino's been doing over the past couple of films, and that is he's subverting history.
Yeah.
I love Inglourious Bastards just for the fact that, they kill off Hitler. And it's like, well, we know this didn't happen, but he reminds us we're watching a film. That's the whole purpose. We're being entertained and we're watching a film. And I think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood plays that absolutely fantastic. I love all the wee inside stuff. There's a couple of scenes that I really, really enjoy in that film. And the one is, it's Leo having the conversation with the wee girl about the book. And she's asking questions about the book. And he realizes that the book that he's reading is mirroring his life. And he kind of breaks down a wee bit. And the wee girl notices this. I just thought it was nice. And then later on, she compliments him, saying, that's the best acting I've ever seen. And it's just, for that character, just to have that little moment, it's like, again, it's very life-affirming. And the other bit that I really like, apart from all the action and all that, it's the Margot Robbie as your woman, as Sharon Tate, just sitting in the cinema watching and just enjoying the experience. Like very naive, because I mean, we're reminded in this film that Sharon Tate did not have a very long career, and she possibly could have went on to absolutely great things. And it's just, her sort of experiencing the limelight or the sort of slow rise to stardom at the time. It's Tarantino. I mean, Brad Pitt's fantastic in it. There was a bit of controversy about the whole Bruce Lee bit and stuff. But I think people maybe missed the point that it's actually a deranged character is having that memory of what happened. So it's distorted. And it's not true to life.
I think, Bill, you and I have discussed this, not in the podcast before, but I always took
great depth,
yeah, I took that sequence with Brad Pitt as just a dream, a daydream.
Yeah, daydream. Yeah, it's fictional. It's a fictional. It didn't happen that way, or it didn't happen.
Going ahead, but Joe.
No, I was going to say, now you actually read the book Tarantino wrote alongside it, because he explains it in more detail as to what went down in regards to that fight and why he sort of one-upped Bruce Lee in that fight. And it kind of explains how, his experiences in World War II as a soldier sort of prepared him for that fight. Because Bruce Lee's a certain martial arts and Brad Pitt was basically a soldier. He's like, no, I'm just trained to kill someone. So I don't care, you can throw whatever martial arts at me, but I will just kill you. There's no discipline to what I'm going to do with someone. So that's how he was, prepared to, to let him have, the first punch, and then he was able to follow up and then basically throw him in the car. But it
also,
explains it a lot better than I do from the book. Like,
it's also an interesting thing you were just saying this, Bill, about when you're watching Margot Robbie, Sharon Tate watching the film in the cinema, because they actually use the film, don't they? So we actually see Sharon Tate, the real Sharon Tate in it, and it is, I do. That was a very interesting film,
and it's like
very
a bit part
film.
that she's, she's not the lead.
She plays the klutz.
Yeah, it's like she's the second or whatever, but it's kind of like that little shining thing where she's on the way up in the Hollywood stakes, and who knows what would have happened.
It's probably the first Tarantino film I think I've had a little cry at, because I think it's you watch that film, and I'll be honest, I remember watching it and kind of getting really nervous when it gets to its finale and going, because you just mentioned about the kind of what he did with Hitler in Inglourious Basterds, a film I'm not a huge fan of. There's some great sequences in Inglourious Basterds. The opening is just stupendous. The stuff with Fassbender in that, when he orders the drinks wrong and that's how he gets rumbled. And then, I don't know, I think I need to rewatch it. There's stuff in the cinema's great, but Django I love up until "G'day mate, it's me, Quentin. What about ya?" It's like that bit ruins that film for me. But I think it's a perfect film up until that point. And then Hateful Eight is ruined for me in the opening credits, because why do you need to mention Channing Tatum in the opening credits? It's meant to be a surprise. It's meant to be a plot twist or a plot development. It's there in the opening credits. So for me, probably Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is probably my favorite Tarantino film he's done in quite some time. And I love that it becomes quite romanticized in the finale, and it's quite sweet, and he looks at it and kind of, we thought that this would be a film that would glorify Charles Manson, but it's not, because Quentin hates him just as much as anybody else. He looks at the likes of the Mansons as Charles Manson and his group of fucking fuckwits as a group of people who ruined this golden age of Hollywood. And that's why I love it. So yeah, I do like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I'm not that fussed about the idea. Make the TV series, the Bounty Law, isn't that it?
Aye, Bounty Law.
I don't know if I'm fussed about that idea. I think I'm sure Tarantino would do great, because he would just get in there and do something that's authentic and right to the genre. But I want to see him move on to do something else. I've said before, I don't want to see Tarantino indulged as much as he is, because I think he will be a better filmmaker. But that is not what we're here to talk about. So, Bill, you've picked Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I've decided, my friend, to go big. And of all the films I'm going to mention on this pod for the listens, this is one I guarantee, and I know it's available on Netflix, so it technically is available on streaming if you so wish. I haven't watched it for a while. I think it's still on Netflix. I could be wrong. But I'm going to be tuning in on Monday the 27th. I could have went for Paddington 2. at 5:55 on BBC One, but I'm going to be just coming home from work. So, no point. I know I can record it, but no point. My friends, I'm going to tune in at 9 p.m, BBC 2, Blade Runner 2049, one of my favourite films in the last 10 years. A film I absolutely love. A film that works as a sequel to no matter which version of Blade Runner, which version of Ridley Scott film that he tinkered with, even the one that has a bit of Blade Runner, even the one that has a bit of Gladiator in there, just to get another reference in there. But Blade Runner 2049 was the first film I ever got to see on an IMAX screen. It looks stupendous, but then of course it has got Roger Deakins doing the visuals. It manages to be a film that works whether you believe Deckard is a replicant or not. He can be both a human, he can be both a replicant. It's Schrodinger's Deckard, because he is both a replicant and he's not a replicant whatever way you watch the film. It's just a stunning film. Freeze frame any sequence in that, any visual and any moment in that film, and it just looks glorious. So Blade Runner 2049, that is what I'm going for. And BBC 2 at 9 p.m. Joe, over to you, good sir.
Oh God, what's the bag of the lights got for me now?
No pressure, is there, Joe? Come on, you can do
Oh no, none whatsoever.
I just don't want this to turn up, Joe. I don't want this to turn up with you being like a UK entry in Eurovision with no points.
Well, right, you've both mentioned two sort of modern classics, right? I'm going for something from the 90s, something from a pair of filmmakers who are, they're rarely miss.
Don't make me feel old, Joe. When you said classic
Fargo.
and you go 90s, that just makes me feel old.
Yeah, Fargo is a 90s classic, though.
Okay.
Yeah, Frances McDormand. I think that was the first Oscar she won was with this year. Yeah, she's just absolutely fantastic in the lead role. Steve Buscemi and Peter Stormare, isn't it? Yeah, Peter Stormare. They're just brilliant as the two criminals. Throughout it, it's a lot of dark humor, but it's typical Coen Brothers dark humor. Like there's nothing funnier than watching, Peter Stormare shoving Steve Buscemi's leg in a wood chipper and just taking him by surprise. William H. Macy, you just love seeing him just as a complete weasel, constantly making things worse and worse for himself. And you mentioned Roger Deakins. I think this is the slightly superior Roger Deakins film, Jim, in terms of cinematography. Those snowy landscapes that he just puts on screen are just absolutely stunning. I think it was out earlier. It was either this year or late last year. They had the 4K restoration of it in cinemas, and it's just a fantastic film. And it's fortunate it's not even that long. Like you both picked Epics. This is a nice breezy 1 hour 34 minutes, and it does more for me than either of those two films in their near 3 hour runtime.
I remember when films were only like 90 minutes.
Yeah, and they could fit in just as much.
Yeah.
So there you go. It's the Coen Brothers at their peak. So beat that.
Okay. James, over to you.
Oh, it's tough. We're into tough territory because I do like all these films. But I feel my time would be precious at this point. But I also feel that I'd want to feel a little bit happier. So I think I'm going to, and it sounds weird discussing happiness. We've talked about, one of the people in this film making real difficult choices. Obviously screwing up college admissions is one of the big problems one of the people in this film has. But I'm going to have to go with Fargo.
It's all good.
Saying, Jim.
Yeah,
Jim, just face it. I won one.
It's just a sympathy vote. That's all it is. Just because I made I just made the joke about being the UK entry, but it's okay. So
I couldn't ever say it would be sympathy because clearly I'm here to be impartial and make a decision based on the merits put in front of me.
Yeah, you can be bought, James.
Now the points in the bag. I do prefer Blade Runner 2049 for the record.
It's all good.
Blade Runner 2049 is a very good film.
Visually, and also we were talking about the score, Hans again, talking about the score earlier on for Gladiator, the score for Blade Runner. It's one of those the few soundtracks if I'm writing or if I'm working or anything like that here in the office, usually it's a Hans Zimmer score, and quite a lot of the times it's the Blade Runner 2049 score. I adore it. I just think it's fab. But Fargo, I have to go with the judge's choice. It's like Brexit. You've just got to accept it. The people, rightly or wrongly, the majority got what they...
Don't you dare compare me to Brexit.
I'm feeling this rightly or wrongly comment. I don't know. I'm just feeling that there might be like a slight knife in my back here at this point. But,
no. It's like it's like the Supreme Court in the States. You're above the court. You're above report. Anyway, so it's now Bill is still in the lead. We're going in, and
I love how Bill just goes like, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, Bill's in the lead, and either Joe and I, we have to form an electoral pact. We have enough of those in Northern Ireland, but it's at this stage, going into the last 2 days of this pod, there's a strong possibility Bill Taylor could be returning as the defending champion.
Stop 4 days.
Well, we've got. Oh yeah, we do. Sorry, I've got it wrong. Sorry, there we go. Sorry, I apologize. There we go. Okay, so we're on
Tuesday. To play for?
I don't know, Bill. So we're on Tuesday the 28th. Joe, as you won the previous day, you get to go first.
Right, here we go. Oh, fucking hell. Well, this is right. Okay, we've picked sort of what our favourites would be, okay, and what we feel should, be put forward as what's the best on any given day. Now, I picked something that's more for the mums, okay, and what they would want. So I think, in terms of purely from a diversive point of view, that my pick should win, obviously, because I went for Mamma Mia. The first one, that is. You know, just look at that cast. Meryl Streep, Pierce Brosnan, Colin Firth, Stellan Skarsgård, Julie Waters, Dominic Cooper, and Amanda Seyfried. You know, like, it's just an all-star cast. And here.
Hey,
and there's more.
Hey, Joe.
Wait, there's more.
Joe, I think you should be grateful of the 1 point you've got so far, my friend.
But wait, there's more, Jim. There's a sing-along option. There's a sing-along option.
I was going to ask this. Was this one of the enhanced DVDs that we can get for extra forced fun?
Oh, but of course. And there's behind-the-scenes look at the making of it. And there's the Gimme, Gimme, Gimme music video. I don't know what that entails, but, you know, pick this and you'll find out, James.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Mamma Mia because I've never actually watched Mamma Mia.
I have seen it.
So you've never witnessed the foghorn that is Pierce Brosnan singing in this film?
He can't sing.
I've heard it. I've heard it. There you go. Bond can sing. What more do you want?
The problem, see, I'm going to be honest with you, Joe. You're going to have a problem here because I was dragged to see this film by an ex-girlfriend.
Oh God.
Can I put those painful memories to one side? I don't know. I'll have to see what else.
Well, I'm hoping you're gonna.
No, Joe's out. Joe's out.
Well, fuck up, Bill.
Bill sold my visual representation.
Yeah.
When this was first mentioned,
just the wincing.
Yeah. It's I like ABBA.
Listen. I tell you what. I had to get it out of the way. Right, it was in there, and at least it's out of the way. We've only got winners left, so.
I mean, I respect you for choosing it. I do respect you for choosing it. It was a very
choice. There was nothing
decision. Else. Why would rows upon rows of this film?
No, there was like Davina McCall's summer workout. Like there's nothing else.
I think I would have preferred Davina McCall's summer workout, to be honest.
Now, Jim said I had to go with films.
It's not a movie. It's not a movie.
Exactly.
It might be epic on screen entertainment, but it's not a movie. I think we had to be clear in this, and I know we get into a heated discussion with some listeners, kind of going, "Well, how do you define a movie by length?" I think Davina McCall's Summer Workout, it's not a movie. Would you want to go see it in the summer? Would you want to go see it in the cinema? No, I don't. There's probably some fucker who probably would. Who'd probably go, "Oh."
There's certain cinemas that might show it.
Yeah,
I think Paul Rubens would see it.
Yeah. Okay,
say no more.
So we'll not pull on that thread. We'll not go there. So
he was. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, that's what you're here. That's what the Sixth Sense brings. That's what the Sixth Sense brings to this situation, and that's just one of you. Imagine all four of you just come up with the comedy banter you would come up with. Okay, so I don't know why I just decided I'm going second, Bill. I don't know why I just kind of went in ahead of you. So
I'll allow it.
Tuesday was a weird one for me because straight away my eyes were drawn to 11:15 on Channel 4 Misery because I love that film, but as I said earlier, I'm back to work that week. I'm working Monday to Thursday that week. I will come back to why I'm off for New Year's Eve. I was meant to be off for a reason. We'll come back to that, I'm sure, later on. But I was attempted to go with Misery, and then I went, well, I'm going to be working, so I'll probably want to go to bed at that point, and I'll not want to watch it in bed because I'll, probably fall asleep. There's a couple of films there I was tempted at a more respectable 9 p.m. kind of time. I was tempted by, I already mentioned Sir Kenneth Branagh, but I was tempted by Murder in the Orient Express because I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it yet, and I'm busting to see it, and I know we're still waiting for Death in the Nile. I think it's got another trailer this week. It's going to be out next year, so we're not going to have one Kenneth Branagh film next year. We're going to have two. How long does it go? I think that film was meant to be out last year. I think it was meant to be out. Yeah.
Have any of you seen the trailer to the Devil in the Nile? The second trailer.
They're trying to cover up the real life cannibal.
Yeah, I noticed that. He suddenly seemed to be exercised from just about every little bit of the trailer he could be in.
Just back ahead shots constantly.
Yeah.
Which is going to be interesting because I'm pretty sure he's integral to the film.
Yeah. We'll not go there. Where's Christopher Plummer when you need him? Say, oh yeah. They can CGI him in over that. That's Christopher Plummer's go-to job. Yeah. But anyway, so I was tempted by those two films just because I haven't seen Murder in the Orient Express. I I love. Isn't it Peter Ustinov was in the original? I think I always get who was. I'm really certain Peter Ustinov was in Murder in the Orient Express as Poirot, and I'm a massive Peter Ustinov fan. I think it was Peter Ustinov, but I have decided to go full kind of, because as I say, this time of the week, this Monday the 27th until New Year's Eve, it's the Twilight Zone, right? Because the world is in limbo, even much more so now because of the COVID pandemic. So I need some entertainment. I need some silliness. I need something to kind of really get me going. And I have decided to go with The Meg, right? I know it is not perfect by any means. It does have the stiff, and it does have the stiff going, my God, that's a megalodon. Sold! Boom! Done! And I am really excited as to what they're going to do with The Meg 2 with Ben Wheatley teaming up with Jason Statham. I cannot wait to fucking see. I know Ben Wheatley, I know he's walked away from the Tomb Raider sequel, so hopefully he won't walk away from this. So I'm going with The Meg on Tuesday the 28th at 9 p.m. on Channel 5. So that's my choice. Bill, what are you going to weigh in there?
I don't know. Let's see. Let's roll the old bones and see what happens.
Bill feels really cocky here.
8. We haven't had 8 yet. Oh, it's a nice one. Oh, a nice wee horror, if you will. If you're into your sort of horror, not only is it horror, it's one of the only decent sci-fi horrors there is. And no, it's not Alien.
I'm intrigued.
It's Event Horizon. Event Horizon, about a lost spaceship. Sam Neill. There's your Belfast connection. Sam Neill.
Excuse me, Bill. We'll not go there, Belfast. It's Oma, my hometown.
Well, Northern Ireland, whatever.
Sam Neill.
So yes, Sam Neill connection. So basically, a lost spaceship comes back. So they send the designer and a crew to find out what happened. Where did this ship go? You know, it's disappeared for a couple of years. Suddenly back around Jupiter, I think. And so they send these ones out to have a look and see if there's any survivors and what happened. And it's just an absolute mindfuck. There's so much bad stuff that happens. And essentially, I think you're supposed to be led to believe that the ship has been to hell and back. And so weird things happen to the crew. They all start sort of going mad, and a bit of, it's a horror film.
Bad stuff happens.
It's got a really good cast. I mean, you've got Sam Neill, you've got Lawrence Fishburne, you've got Jolie Richardson, Sean Pertwee,
Jason Isaacs. Hello to Jason Isaacs.
Actually, yeah, Jason Isaacs is very good in it.
Hello to Jason Isaacs.
Yeah, because he's an avid viewer.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's such, and even the effects, it's a low budget. It's a British film as well.
Yeah. It's
a low budget British film. And, you know, I particularly like this film anyway, because people have always said that, I play a lot of tabletop gaming, and one of the games I play is Warhammer 40,000. And people have said this is probably the closest we'll ever get to a Warhammer 40,000 film, because just of the grim darkness of the story and just the effects and everything. So that's my pick for Tuesday. Event Horizon.
Event Horizon is also responsible for one of the few bits of Latin I know in my life. Liberate tutime ex inferis, save yourself from hell. Because I have a couple of friends, we watched this many, many years ago when we had a caravan, and we were obsessed by it, and still to this day, every so often, we just text each other, Liberate tutime ex inferis. It's like, yeah, we know in the same wavelength. I also remember getting very confused, because this is directed by Paul Anderson.
Not the same one, no.
Yeah, not that one. And I was kind of going, wow, he made
Paul
this.
W.S.
Yeah, I remember getting very confused. He made this, and then he made all those amazing films, like he made all this kind of like the Punch Drunk Love, which I've recently picked up in Criterion because I love that film with Adam Sandler. And what's the one I Drunk Your Milkshake?
Oh, There Will Be Blood.
There Will Be Blood. It's like, wow, what a career change he had. And then I was like, oh no, it's not him.
That's not the same one.
It's not him.
It's also got Zero G Sex at the start, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But also famously, I think Scream Factory in the States, they tried very, very hard because for years they've been trying to put together the extended cut with a lot of scenes of with extra hell added in. But unfortunately, they've all been lost. And Scream Factory, I think they paid some stupid amounts of money to try and find it. Again, I'm talking about my friends from the caravan. There's a guy, D, who I don't think I've ever mentioned before. He is obsessed with this film and obsessed with the quest to find the extra footage. I think if he had the funds, he would like Richard Attenborough and find some kind of weird kind of way to make it happen. But I like Event Horizon. It's a good show. We've screened it before as part of our Banterflix horror festivals or horror programming. I have a lot of love for Event Horizon, but it's not as good as Meg. It doesn't have a big shark, though, Bill.
I don't know now. Doesn't need it.
Everything's
Doesn't have Pierce Brosnan
singing.
Yeah, exactly. That's a greater hell than anything conjured up in Event Horizon.
So I would say this is the most bizarre choice we've had so far. There's been a certain degree of kind of quality, dare I say, but now we've got Mamma Mia, Event Horizon, and The Meg going head to head. James, it's over to you.
I mean, all these films are different levels of hell for me. Mamma Mia.
See how many bad memories. This is where I could be careful here. You mentioned your ex-girlfriend. Yeah. So this could be painful memories.
I mean, don't worry. It's not going to sort of turn into Rain Man where I start smacking myself in the head, talking about Mamma Mia. The problem I have with them, I'm just going to go through all the problems I have with some of these choices, but the problem I have with the Meg is that I read the book and I really, really was a fan of that, the Steve Allen novel, and I was really hoping that they would make, because for years and years they were trying to make the Meg, and there was all these sort of ideas about what they were going to produce, and when they finally made the Meg, I'm sorry, Jim, it just did not mean as much to me as it clearly means to you.
Oh, it's going to be Bill then, isn't it? Bill's going to win this one.
I'm sorry. Well, I'm not sorry. Because again, I tried to be impartial. The emotional pain this round has caused me. It's going to be a tough sleep tonight. But, Bill, you've won it on that one.
Thank you.
I feel cheated by you since I don't know when, It's going to start using ABBA-isms.
Well, the winner takes it all.
Yeah, gimme an impartial judge. That's what I want,
I need a bloody SOS to get through this fucking thing.
Play your pipes, Fernando.
I noticed that none of us are using any of the lyrics from the new songs that I haven't bothered listening to.
The new album was not that bad.
So give us a quick review of it, James. Make us topical.
I enjoyed it, but again, the bias thing for me is I have memories of ABBA from sort of family really being huge fans of it. But yeah, I liked it. It wasn't a huge. The thing is that I talked to my dad about this when the album came out. And he just said the obvious thing, which is straight away you can tell it's their stuff. It doesn't depart from anything. It's not like they've tried to be markedly different. It's a good album. You can stick your brain in neutral. Listen to it, but then when you properly listen to it from an emotional level, from the writings, where it gets quite interesting to see what they've used as influences, talk about their own life and where they're up to in their own life. I don't really understand the thing of going to see holograms, though. I obviously they don't want to tour. I can understand that, but the cheapest ticket's like 130 quid because I looked out of curiosity. I'm like, but you're just seeing hologram stuff.
Yeah. You're better off just waiting for the DVD of that to come out.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah, Joe. That's one we can
that'll
buy
be
and
in the
review.
special edition of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
With
don't
extra ABBA.
I don't see the point in the holograms. It's like I know that they changed how they toured, but it's like the Gorillaz when they started, and it was just screens, and I think they were there behind the screens recording or performing as their persona, but I always like they could just easily literally hit the play button and that would be the concert and just throw a couple of references. Hello Belfast, hello Glasgow. So I don't know with these holograms, I'm assuming it's like when you go see like the Elvis kind of 3D when they bring those characters back and stuff, those performers back. and it's all done with like a 3D image. I'm sure there's a certain sense of kind of being there and at an event, but it wouldn't appeal to me, and clearly it's not appealing to you, James.
Well, I like the idea of it. I really do. I think it could be very interesting to see it, but it seems an awful lot of money to not be actually seeing the people. But I think visually, I think it could be quite amazing, because it's probably going to be even further away on the technological front than sort of like as you said, they did it with Elvis, I think Roy Orbison and Buddy Holly and people, and I think they've done it with Whitney Houston, but it's more like a static image almost with them, where it's going to be like a set in front of you. But I mean, they've built an entire thing for this. It's a purpose-built projection thing, and I think ILM were working on it, and it's going to be in a specific area. But again, it's a lot of money to see a basic computer image.
The only thing I can say that I think in a kind of way compares to it, I've never been to see the Gorillaz live. I'm not that much of a fan, but I think it was a couple of years ago the War of the Worlds toured, and they did a 3D image of Richard Burton. I think that because they replaced it, clearly it was quite expensive, because I think they did something similar then with Liam Neeson doing it when they toured it again. But I remember, it's a bit like when you get Marlon Brando at the start of Superman. You've got to get your money's worth somehow, and Richard Burton's narration of the War of the Worlds is just perfection. It's a thing of beauty, and I enjoyed that as a thing, but then there was more to that than just Richard Burton's head, if I remember, being recreated with a 3D hologram. There was more to that going on than just that. Mm-hmm. But I get your point. I just don't think, particularly for that money, money's tight these days, unless
it's just probably. I mean, the main thing that came into my head when you saw the avatars things is that they look more like something out of Tron Legacy than anything else. But I mean, look, I could be wrong. It could be the greatest experience known to man for the people who are going to it, and surely it will mean more to them than it would to me. So who am I to besmirch this wonderful thing?
But if anyone is listening and would like to offer James a ticket, he will happily go.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I am not going to buy you a ticket to try and buy your favour for the rest of these rounds. We are sitting, we've 3 days left. Go on ahead.
I'll just say, Joe, as you did choose Mamma Mia, ticket might sway me. Just saying. You could win it, Joe,
Well, we have 3 days left, and Bill is now 2 in front. So we've got to hope, because I've got it here, but Mike, I've been keeping score here. Bill's got 3, I've got 1, and Joe's got 1. So you're 2 in front, Bill, and we've 3 days left. We have the 29th, the 30th, and New Year's Eve. So we've got to hope for something. It's starting to look a bit ominous. So let's see how it all turns out with Wednesday the 29th. And I will say, I know I'm not picking first, it is Bill. This was probably, for me, the weakest day to choose from. But Bill, you won the last day, so what are you starting off with?
Right, here go the dice. Might be a double. If it's a double, of the re-roll. It's actually not on there. Could be here one. It's a double. Done that one already. Done that one again. Tell you what, if I was in Vegas, it'd be great. About the 7s. 6. Well, I'm not 6 yet. The 2 years might give up. Is it? This is the big one. Literally, it's got big in the title. It's got Kurt Russell in it. It is Big Trouble in Little China on Disney Plus. Disney Plus for that Star Channel is just an absolute godsend. The beauty that they're bringing down, and there you go. Kurt Russell double bill, Tombstone, and then Big Trouble in Little China. Do I even need to explain Big Trouble in Little China? Because I don't even think I could explain Big Trouble in Little China. A truck driver gets his truck stolen by Chinese triads, and then has to go in and fight mystical Chinese entities to get his truck back. But it's Kurt Russell, so he's cool. It's all in the reflexes. I mean, that film is just so. It's Kurt Russell. It's a John Carpenter film, totally tongue in cheek the whole way through. But all the action's happening, and it's pretty much happening around Kurt Russell, his character, Jack Burton. It's happening around him. It's not happening because of him. He's not, I don't think he's the main character in the story, but he's the main foil. And it's such a great film, just a story of good versus evil. And it's just Jack Burton's just the coolest guy on the planet.
And it's got the Scouse chick from Mannequin in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, now here's the thing. If I could now very quickly just eject James as the judge and replace the judge with Sarah Jessica Parker, I think I might have a chance of winning. I think I might have a better chance because I don't think Sarah Jessica Parker is going to agree with you with that choice. I do love Big Trouble in Little China. The Pork Chop Express.
Pork Chop Express. Yeah.
So Joe, that's what Bill's serving up. That's a toughie to beat. What can Poundland offer? It's going to be Gladiator. We know it's going to be Gladiator again.
One desk.
Yeah. Oh, it's too Gladiator, too Furious. No, it's no, right. This is a good one now. 20 years ago, where were you all? If you weren't in the cinema, there was something wrong, because the Fellowship of the Ring. There we go. I think out of all the options I have left, this is probably closest to maybe beating Big Trouble in Little China. I don't know. When I first went to see it in the cinema 20 years ago, I went with my cousin. We were both 11 years old. I knew nothing about Lord of the Rings, nothing. I didn't know there were books, didn't know anything like that. And he was like, let's go see this film. And I was like, what's it about? And he was like, I know, swords and magic and stuff. We'll go anyway. So it did. Came out just completely blown away. You know, it was just literally like Peter Jackson takes you to another world. He literally did. And, you know, coming back out of that screen, you know, eyes hazed, going like, wait, hang on, that film just like ended in the middle. What's happening now? Like, I didn't know there was more books, didn't know anything like that. And then I had to be told like a week later, oh no, it's going to be another 2 films. And I was like, oh my god, when are they coming? It's like, no, a year after each other. And I was just obsessed since. You know, I literally, you know, I think my birthday is at the end of January. The following birthday, I got the books, and then I even got like the scores and everything. Like, it was just me and the Lord of the Rings for the next 3 years, and it was just absolute magic. And the great thing about this DVD, it's another 2-disc edition, and it's got all the behind the scenes stuff. And I think that includes, like, I think with the extended editions, they have like 4 hours extra for each film. So like, there's like details into like, you know, actual production notes and even deleted ideas before they were like actually shot. Like, I think even in The Two Towers, Arwen was supposed to be at Helm's Deep and stuff like this here, but then I think they shot some and then they're like, nah, it's not going to work. No, I just cut all that out. But no, this film itself was just, it, you know, it really did just change things completely for me and how I love films. So if this doesn't beat Big Trouble in Little China, I don't know what will for me.
Well, since Joe is clearly just pulling on emotional heartstrings, and you know, fair dues, Joe, if that's where you're going to go. I love the Lord of the Rings as much as the next man, you know, as long as it's not the extended. Well, I do love the extended version of the Fellowship of the Ring. And the extended version of the Two Towers. It's after that it went a little bit downhill for me with the extended versions. And let's not talk about The Hobbit. Those 3 films didn't need to happen. They didn't need to be 3 films, but they only need to be 1. And funny you mentioned about the CGI. I was thinking there when you mentioned that, but I remember Peter Jackson talking about Gollum. Gollum was meant to be in the first film in Fellowship of the Rings, and they just realised that the CGI just wasn't there. That's why you only get that one little fleeting glimpse, and it looks horrible when you compare to what came. And then funny at what came after, but then funny, I did rewatch The Hobbit, the first film, and you then see how far the CGI has come even since then, with where we see with that exchange, that great sequence between Martin Freeman and Andy Serkis. But James, if you want someone to pull on your heartstrings, I'm going to go for a film that broke my heart in the cinema. Broke my heart and made me blub. And then I came back because I got the privilege to see it at the Edinburgh Film Festival. I came back with my lovely wife and thought it would be great. I'll bring her, she'll cry, I'll sit there, I'll be ultra masculine, and she'll be like, what a man, you know, you are. And the second time I watched this film, I broke my heart even more. I cried, I tried to do the dreaded cry and talk. Can't be done. It can't be done. It's like sneezing and keeping your eyes open. Can't happen. You can't cry and talk at the same time without you go Rocky, you go full Sylvester Stallone if you try and do that. But my memory of this film, and I will name the film in a moment, but going to see this film the second time in Belfast at the Odeon, there was a little girl sitting beside me, and there's a little animated film at the start. So this gives a clue. It might be a Pixar film. May or may not. And she cried at the little animated film, and I kind of nudged my wife going, oh, this isn't going to go well for her. And got to a certain event when someone mutters the line, take her to the moon. Take her to the moon. And I went, and this little girl, I'm not really good at aging children. Like, Bill's daughter to me is probably like 25, 26. She's either 25, 26, or she's like 2, right? I'm really bad at aging children. But I think this child would have been about 4 or 5. And she had a little tissue. And she just reached up and handed me this tissue. And said, there you go. And I was just gone. So yes, if you haven't guessed, the film I'm picking for Wednesday 29th is just cinematic perfection for me, and I watch it, every time it's on around Christmas. I will always seek it out, and that is Inside Out, the finest Pixar film for me. I just think it's stupendous. I love Inside Out. 1:40 on BBC One. I was tempted to go with A Star Is Born at 9 p.m. on BBC One. I don't love A Star Is Born, but I like it more from a directorial point of view from Bradley Cooper, as to see kind of what a filmmaker he is. He's clearly someone very influenced by Clint Eastwood as a filmmaker. And James, we had you on the podcast. Joe, we had you on the podcast for House of Gucci, and that was the film that made me think, yeah, Lady Gaga really can act before she kind of goes for the full Italian. I'm going to be full Italian with the House of Gucci. But I do love A Star Is Born, but I cannot, if it's on any day and I can get a chance to watch it, I will always choose Inside Out. But if it felt that I could beat that film, if it could beat it and beat what we've got before, the only film I think that could possibly have beat Bill's choice would maybe be Hot Fuzz on ITV. But I'm going to stick with my guns. I'm going to go Inside Out because I just love that film. Properly love that film. James?
We've got a problem because I've only seen one of these films. And I'm afraid to say, for two of you, that's going to be difficult. But the only film I've actually seen out of any of these is Big Trouble in Little China. It's the only one I've actually seen. I've never watched any of the other two films. And
You're not missing anything, James. You're not missing anything.
I just feel
you never seen another round, so you might as well between the Lord of the Rings 20th anniversary.
Bad. I do feel emotionally bad because these other choices of films mean a lot to you two, but I'm gonna have to go with Big Trouble in Little China because I just don't feel I could invest in the other two. Now, whether that means I'm a heartless bastard and emotionally bereft,
I don't think.
To be honest, we know I am anyway.
I don't think you're a heartless bastard. I just think you're just up there with the organisers of the Formula One. I now know how Lewis Hamilton feels, right? That's how I feel now. Joe, do you feel the same? Do you feel a bit like Lewis Hamilton right now?
I was going to go further and say he's up there with Hitler, but
Jesus.
I'm gonna pull back. Yeah, maybe he is up there with the Formula One.
To be fair, I am worried that with the point scoring that's gone on, we should be putting Joe on some sort of suicide watch list.
Yeah. He's got a point, so he should be. Hey, I'm not complaining. I'm on the same point, so if he's on the suicide watch, I've got to be in the.
I mean, the reason I put you on that list, Joe, is just the fact that you had Mamma Mia with you. It's just, that's one that anyone who watches that.
The only thing, James, the only thing I'm going to throw in here, and I think Joe is quite right to kind of make that point. You hadn't seen another round, but you were emotionally swayed by Bill Taylor's powerful emotive speech.
It's
So
got drink.
it
Got drink in it.
It does
Got
make
drink.
you sound like, as you've said, you've already accepted it, so you might be a little bit of the venturing into the proper heartless bastard territory when not even a little 8-year-old child offering a grown man a little tissue as he kind of just weeps.
See, but the problem there, Jim, is that the idea of the 8-year-old child giving you a tissue, that the 8-year-old child is so invested in this and that it's emotionally, the 8-year-old child has been emotionally invested in it. I don't like children. So really, that's just like all
right, then. You're right.
If you want to give me a reason to dislike a film, just say this kids really love it. They really
all
enjoy it.
All right, James, fuck it. I'm going to change my choice. My choice is Hot Fuzz, right?
See now, see the battle started. You've started a proper rage here with.
I may have something else here, James. I may have something else.
The depths everybody will go to stop me from winning,
You know what?
which I already have.
You know what, Jim?
I already have.
Make Bill go to Poundland next year and see what magic he can conjure up.
I'll still win.
See, the problem is, if you go with Hot Fuzz, it's a Dalton film. That's the problem. I love Hot Fuzz. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't your original choice. But I do like the fact you're trying to sway me. Joe, what else have you got?
I will go full Donald.
Joe's got an ABBA ticket with your name on it. Check your PayPal.
Yeah, but it's an ABBA ticket. It's an ABBA ticket from a concert like back in the 70s. It's not.
Yeah, it's gonna be big trouble.
What's the score, sir, Jim?
It's not. It's. I think Bill knows why he's asking about why is the score, because it's like election night for Donald. It suddenly dawned. There's no coming back from this. It's not like the Hunger Games. The odds are just never in our favor. It's now, Bill, you have now 4. I have 1. Joe has 1, which means mathematically it's impossible for us to beat you. But
it's huge.
Yeah, huge. Tiny hands, but it's huge. But
God, I'm joining QAnon.
But here's the thing. No, we've 2 days left. We've 2.
It's just to see they'll sway for you, Joe.
Yeah.
But it's all fake. It's all fake, right? My Aunt Sharon's Facebook status says otherwise. It says this is rigged.
Yeah.
But I have to believe that over what's in front of me.
Yeah. As soon as I get off this, I'm just going to put on Facebook, on our social media, another romping victory for Freeview television until this podcast airs. And then when the evidence is there, I'll just say it's alternative facts. Alternative facts.
And don't forget, you have to mention that JFK Jr. is coming back at some point.
No, because you know
Let's
what?
go to Dallas, Jim, and dance.
You know what? Fuck it. No, I don't want, because those fuckers will just pop up at Banter HQ and just wait for us. Like, no, so fuck that. So I'm gonna accept that, Bill. It means depressingly, Bill, you have to come back again next year. You're gonna come back when about December, when I text you, you up for this? And you go, what's this? What's this thing about?
What's the rules again?
What's the rules? What's this thing? And you're forgetting again. But here's the thing. No, we have 2 days left. So is it going to be a romping success for Bill? Or are we going to have a last place? Or, it's a battle. It's a battle to see who's second, the first loser. And as Ricky Bobby says, if you ain't first, you're last. But who is going to be the second loser? Because there's possibility that I'm confident about 1. I am confident about 1. But we'll see. We'll see. So we know now that Bill is now going to be the first 4 times champion. I can't wait to the day when Freeview TV finally romps home with a victory. But anyway, so we're on.
Jim, can I just say, why have you written Joe off so much? You've just gone. It's going to be.
I've written myself off, James. Let's not fuck about here, right?
I think next year we can let him go to CEX.
I couldn't this year because it's probably diseased with worse things than COVID in there.
The DVDs are like 25p. We're actually saving Banterflix money by sending you there.
What you should do...
but I'll probably die in the process from like the stench of Monster and Link South Africa and everything.
Is there a set budget?
No, really. No. Well, just not a lot.
Well, it's not fair for me to go and buy like big 4K restorations of like films.
No, keep it fair. You can only choose from the DVDs.
Yeah, I'd say go to Kex and just go for the 25p bin and just wipe them out. Put on a hazmat suit before you go in, of course.
See, Joe, I think you've been doing it wrong. I was going to say you should go to a good charity shop. A good charity shop, you can find some cracking deals. And you'll find more than just Davina McCall's summer workout.
But the thing is, I have to interact with a human if I do that. At least with Poundland, all I had to do was go to self-service and not be judged for what I'm picking.
Poundland has held self-service. God, I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's a weird one as well. It's like, ho, 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 would you like to buy stuff today? And you're like, fuck off, Santa, just give me my DVDs.
Can I just say, though, James Stafford has never sounded as middle class in his life. Oh, Poundland? They have self-serve? Oh, I thought that was only in Waitrose. Oh, dear.
The Land of Pounds?
You may say that. I couldn't possibly cover it.
Okay, it's all right. It's okay. We love the middle class here at Banderflix. Okay. So, Thursday the 30th, right? So this is... Bill can just do any old shit now. Bill could just literally find, whatever. He doesn't even care.
No, I've still got two clankers here, like.
Okay.
Right, so it's a 50-50 choice now because we've only two left. So 1 to 3, it's that one, and 4 to 6 is that one. Right, so it's number 2, which is that one. All right, now this film actually surprised me. I watched it this year, and I watched it because you asked me to watch it, Chip. So you did. You asked me to watch it, and I did. And it's now on Netflix. And it is called The War Below. And it's an absolutely beautiful, beautiful film set in World War I. And it's basically a bunch of miners are asked by the British Army to dig tunnels through no man's land to get to the German lines and to destroy the German their weapons or whatever their weapons cache on the other side. So then whenever they go over the top, the soldiers will be able to go in. And it's just such a well shot film. And it's very emotional as well because the miners, they see themselves as doing their bit for the war effort because a lot of them were deemed too sick to sign up. So they were turned away. And they're now asked to do their bit for their country. And when they get there, they're treated like absolute shit by the soldiers. And so they have to kind of earn the soldiers' respect as well. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful story. It's well shot. It's a low budget British film. And again, Jim, you got me to watch it and review it for Banterflix this year. And I have to say, it was an absolute joy. It's just a beautiful film.
It is one of my favourite films of the year, and I had the pleasure to interview the director. So I don't want to sway James in any way, but it doesn't really make a difference anymore. All I have to make sure is that Joe doesn't get any more points in these next 2 days. But The War Below, it is ultra low budget. And I would say this, and you're a filmmaker, Bill, so I'm sure you'll agree with me in this. If there are any filmmakers listening to this, you want to see what you can do with a minuscule budget. And when you think to yourself, I always come back. This is a thing it's a thing that frustrates me greatly with films. Sometimes we get low budget films that have a great concept, great screenplay, and then there's just certain sequences that they have ideas above their station, and the CGI, the special effects, the visuals aren't there, and it just takes me out of the whole moment. I could go through a list of films that have been let down by that. This is a film that understands what it has to work with its budget. The mining sequences, I remember speaking to the director, it's just a little tunnel, and they just put off all the lights, and they had it lit by candlelight, and it looks fantastic. So yeah, I'm actually delighted. I didn't realize, Bill, that was on Netflix now. It is a fab film.
I think it came on this week.
Yeah, it's a fab film. If you can get the chance to watch it, I would definitely recommend The War Below. But that's after. Now I am torn here. So James, because I know you're a judge and you're meant to be impartial. So I'm going to give you two options here because I was torn for this. I'm going to give you option one. Or no, not James. I'll go with Joe. Joe, because this is fair, since you and I are in a dogfight here to the end, a dogfight for the turd of turds. So, are you going to go with option 1, or are you going to go with option 2 for my pick of the day? Which is not. I'm just going to say this. I mean, as much as I thought her performance was good, Andrew Collins has picked Judy as his film for the day for the 30th, and Renée Zellweger was great in the film, but I didn't think the film was that good in itself. It's not my choice, but. Joe, what are you going with? Are you going to go with number 1 or are you going to go with number 2 here?
Well, since everything's gone to shit, let's go number 2.
Okay. Well, you went number 2, which is
thinking. His choice is good there.
So, Joe, you've helped me then pick Ready Player One, which is on BBC One, 10:35. I know Bill does not like this film. Because of certain sequences when they change.
It's not that I don't like the film. It's that I prefer the book. The book is a lot better. It goes into a lot more depth. But I tell you what, what they did with The Shining is fantastic.
Because it's Blade Runner, isn't it? A Blade Runner in the book.
No, it's enough Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh yeah, you're right. I think you're right. Yeah. Because I couldn't remember, because whatever film it was, they couldn't clear their rights for it, and that's why they couldn't do it. But the sequences in this film with The Shining is just unreal. I mean, it's just fab, the sequences in this. But I had such a ball. I hadn't read the book when I went to see this. I'd only heard the hype, and I knew it was kind of Spielberg coming back to kind of ultra popcorn munching film, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself when I went to see this. I know it's filled with Easter eggs, knowingly filled with Easter eggs. The Easter eggs are a plot point. I know that. And I was really satisfied by this. It's not perfect, and I think it's Mark Kermode made the point, I made the point in the TV show a couple of weeks ago. It's like, I'm not surprised, but I am surprised about the influence that Leon has had on so many films within the kind of the hitman that kind of genre. Films like a film like The Goonies, you can see what a massive influence it had, the late great Richard Donner, and how its legacy is still being reaped out and kind of being used by so many films today. So my choice is Ready Player One. My other choice was Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is on Channel 4 at 6:45, and I do love Raiders of the Lost Ark because probably the best Indiana Jones film. Of those 3 films, it is probably the best of the Indiana Jones films. I know there's going to be a 4th one made soon.
There was a 4th?
No, there wasn't a 4th, Joe. There wasn't a 4th, Bill.
Alright, okay.
No,
there wasn't.
There was only 3. I heard rumours of Shia LaBeouf in a film, but no, that never happened.
I feel with the whatever number we're going to give it that's coming out, it's the plane's going to crash into the goddamn mountain. But,
I don't know, because you guys were talking about this on the last pod when we had you on for the House of Gucci. I'm just gonna, because it's James Mangold, isn't it? Is directing that, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think
it's things I've heard about the possible plot.
There's things I've heard about the plot, and I'm just gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna sit and say, It's like what they say in Empire magazine. Every time you go in to watch a film, it's Christmas Eve, and you're going to get the present that you want. I've heard those same rumours. We haven't had it confirmed or anything yet. I'm going to go in with an open mind because, I know I don't want to talk about it too much because A, if it's not true, we look stupid, and B, if it is true and people don't know or they haven't heard the rumours, it's a bit spoilerific. I'm intrigued as to how they go with it, but I'm just going to say to myself, if they do decide to go down that kind of route, I'm just going to choose my words very carefully. I'm going to go in with as open as mind as I can. That's all I can say. But Joe, can you beat Ready Player One, or can you beat The War Below?
Can I? Well, let me find out.
I like the fact that it's theatre of the mind. You can hear the rummaging.
Well, that's what I mean. There's only between 2 now, but right, this one has tenuous links to Christmas, so I think I'm the only one who's picked a Christmassy sort of film in the whole Christmas period. And it's not Christmas.
It's not Christmas. It's not Christmas though, Joe. This is Thursday the 30th. Christmas is over and done with.
Christmas festive period, Jim. Right. Don't spoil my little intro
Go
for this
American.
film.
Go American.
Right.
Happy holidays.
Yeah. Happy, was it?
Happy
I don't know.
Festivus. Festivus.
Season's greetings. Season's greetings.
That's tomorrow, actually. Festivus is tomorrow.
Mm.
Oh, there we go. Well, this is well past that. Right, from a director we've already gone through. Bit of a controversial film from for fans of this particular series. I have Prometheus. Now, a lot of people... well, Jim, you've sort of mixed opinions on it.
No, I like
I
Prometheus.
had mixed... Oh, is it? Oh, no, sorry. No, it's the other one you're on about. I initially did, but the more I watched it, the more I warmed to it. I initially hated it because of the stupid opinions characters make, but the more and more you see,
just move left.
in this,
just move left. Just when you're running, just move left.
You say that. Have you seen the world we live in now? How stupid people are. Yeah, it's actually very accurate and close to reality. I think he tries to go places like, put it this way, I'm glad he just didn't decide, I'll just make another Alien film. He sort of went somewhere a bit different to see where the whole thing started, how the ball got rolling and such. Initially, I don't think it's a film that needed to be made even, because the whole space jockey thing was great because it was a mystery. Why explore that further? But it's the themes and that there that explores that really sort of pulled me through with it. And Michael Fassbender's just bloody brilliant in it as David. He's the best thing about this, and then Alien Covenant as well. And it looks fantastic. And the score's really good as well. So, yeah.
Hans Gregson Williams, isn't it, did the score for that, I think?
Yeah, I think he did for this one, and then it was Justin Kurzel in Covenant.
The score for Covenant's fab as well. I like Prometheus. I like Alien Covenant. I just think we seem to be very much fixated in this pod with Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott came in with an idea for Prometheus. He basically came with an idea. I think he said was the beast is done. He thought the xenomorph wasn't scary, so he wanted to go in a different direction. It's the studio. In both times, he has been shackled by the studio, by what they wanted. That's why we have at the end of Prometheus, we have that little sequence that just does not need to be there. That's basically like, yeah, there you go, fuck it. I could just imagine Ridley Scott just kind of go, there you go, fuck it. There's your kind of xenomorphy thing. And then at the end of Covenant, the last, was it 15, 20 minutes?
Oh, the third act's basically Alien.
Alien on crack, or Alien on speed. Yeah. Pretty much with no terror, but all the stuff that's really interesting in Alien Covenant is the middle act, when it's all about kind of destruction and the two androids and you do the fingering. Oh, or Michael. Oh, I've come over all funny again. But there's bits of Covenant I love. There's bits of Prometheus I absolutely adore. There's just certain sequences in Prometheus I think it's poorly edited. There's sequences I think are poorly edited together. It's a flawed film, but I love it for the fact that it's flawed. And same with Covenant, I love the fact that it's a flawed film, and there's so many interesting things that you could unpack. I would love to see Scott get the chance to complete the trilogy, but if he doesn't, I'd even like to see it in a graphic novel or a comic book series just to see where we go. Because talk about a downbeat ending for this series so far, with the way Alien Covenant finishes things. It's not gonna go well. But anyway, so I went to
that ending.
Yeah. Oh, I loved it too. I mean, I defend Covenant. I get a lot of stick for defending Covenant, and I get a lot of stick for defending Prometheus, but fuck it. I see what Ridley Scott tried to do. It's just that the studio wanted something else. That's the downside. Yeah. So, James, where are we going to weigh in?
It's a tough one because I would be sat with all these options of films to watch, and I like all of them, but I would be probably quite depressed at this point because, holidays are coming to an end. It's, going back to the real world, so to speak. But I'm going to want to feel the warmth and happiness of my childhood and things that that give me positive memories. So I'm going to have to go with Ready Player One because I look at it and see all these little things from my youth. God, Jim, that's happy to have seen you for ages. All these little things from my youth that I go, remember that, that's cool. Oh, wow. But I could happily watch all of those. Although I do find Prometheus I like Prometheus. I do like it, but I kind of like it if I just watch it as a single entity and not think of any of the other stuff that would go with it.
Yeah.
Then pick it.
I don't.
Yeah. Just pick it in DVD.
Do you want half a point or something, Joe? Do you want half a point?
No, I don't want your pity.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'm delighted. Apparently, a lot of people have messaged me today because we did a little photo today for the TV show with me and Avine wearing Christmas hats. Because someone said, "Jim, wouldn't it be really funny if you wore a Christmas hat?" And apparently, I look really grumpy. I don't mean to. That's just my kind of posing face. And people are like kind of messaging me, kind of going, "What's wrong with you? Did Avine annoy you or something?" The pod's like, "No, that's just my face. That's just my general demeanor. I'm not the kind of cheesy, grinny person." But yeah.
I get that on loads of pictures. People tell me to smile because I just have too serious.
Every so often, James, it just let a little bit of energy out, and it's the fact that possibly, I'm not going to be finishing last. You know, that's all. Look, that's all I care about when we do quizzes or we do this every year. It's like all I care about. I love the thought of winning just for bigging up Freeview TV, but I just don't want to lose. I don't want to come last. That's it. And I'm going into the list. No, I'm not going to say it because then my cockiness will get the better of me. But
Joe really wants to go for the draw here.
Yeah,
it's the
loser draw.
I have to cling for. Oh,
the loser draw. Okay, so it's New Year's Eve, right? There is
just to forewarn you, I'd be really, really depressed at this point because I hate the New Year. So.
Well, James, I have the film for you, my friend. Was a bit hesitant about picking up this film because we were meant to screen it on New Year's Eve, and then another cinema who, the more I think about it, were aware that we were doing this screening and have went ahead and did it. So fuck them, but I love them really because they're the home of independent cinema in Belfast. So we didn't do it, and then I think anyway we were going to pull out of the screening because of the whole Omicron stuff and the way the world's kind of depressingly at this stage seems to be going again. But this for me is probably up there in my top 5, maybe top even 3 films of all time. And it's a film that I will find myself a bit like It's a Wonderful Life before Christmas. It's what I always say, it's like what doctors should prescribe and say, look, there you go, watch that. I know things are tough, and I'm not belittling mental health. I'm just saying, look, if this one little thing, if it can help, watch something like It's a Wonderful Life. But here's another film. I think if you want to, James, like what you're saying, if you just want to smile and if you just want to have a laugh and forget about everything, my recommendation to yourself on BBC4 at 10:40 p.m, it'll take you through to the new year. And I'm trying to figure out if BBC4 have been genius with this and they have managed to deliver the key speech in this film delivered by the great Billy Crystal. If they have got it peaked at that sequence will happen, that key speech, when you realise you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody, you just blah, 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 all that. If they've got that to happen at midnight, I would have so much respect for I would just pay my licence forevermore if that happened. But my choice on New Year's Eve, 10:40 p.m, BBC4, When Harry Met Sally.
Good film.
I adore that film, and we have, Carrie Fisher in there. It's just a superb film. I was very tempted to go with Spectre. I think I mentioned this earlier on. I was tempted by Spectre because I want to rewatch it after No Time to Die because I like Spectre, but I didn't love it. And Spectre very much, I think No Time to Die expects a lot of people to have a lot more love for Spectre than what maybe they did. Because there's a lot of a lot of stuff is carried over from Spectre into this. But it's on ITV, it's at 9 p.m, and with ad breaks, Spectre's a long film, and then with ad breaks, it's even longer. I was tempted as well to go earlier with The Great Escape, and go for that at 3:15, Channel 4. But we could throw a bit of Fassbender in. Jane Eyre's on. My mum, I know, will be watching that 12:30 on BBC 2 in the afternoon. She loves that version of that version of Jane Eyre with Fassbender. My mum just loves Fassbender. Look, listen to previous podcasts. My mother is obsessed. She has a cardboard cutout in her bedroom. Let's not go there. But a bit like Inside Out, when I picked it, I seen it on the listings and just straight away, my little pen marks went to When Harry Met Sally. It's on BBC4. There's no ad breaks. it's generally, I think, the greatest rom-com that has ever been, and I wait to see something that will surpass
It's a template. It's a template for the rom-com, isn't it? How we know the rom-com to be.
And it's
interestingly, go on. Sorry,
no, go on. It's a template that I don't get why so many filmmakers then get it wrong.
It's interesting that the line that always sticks in my head from it, though, is not the obvious one, which is, I'll have what she's having, but the one that still always sticks in my head is when Billy Crystal angrily is talking about the stupid Roy Rogers coffee table. I don't know why that stuck in my head, but it's one that never ever left. You'll be arguing over the stupid Roy Rogers coffee table.
Yeah. I love it. You've got Nora Ephron. Just as I said, look, Nora Ephron is a woman. She's able to. I know a lot of Billy Crystal's lines are ad-libbed, and he's given free rein by Rob Reiner. I think there's sequences where you can see where Meg Ryan literally is looking to camera, kind of going like, "I what do I do?" And you can just imagine Rob Reiner going, "Just go." So so I'm going to put out the gauntlet. Bill, Joe, beat that. Beat that New Year's Eve when Harry met Sally and you're going through into midnight.
Go on ahead there, Bill.
All right. I don't need to roll the dice as my last one. It's an action film. It's not your normal run-of-the-mill action film. Rennie Harlan, director. Really good cast. I think it's a really good cast. And it's got some really funny moments in it. It is The Long Kiss Goodnight. Gina Davis, who would have thought would have been an action? Well, no, I know Cutthroat Island as well. No, but Long Kiss Goodnight, there's just some really good lines and things, just the action sequences in that. Who would have thought Gina Davis would have been an action star? Obviously, her husband did at the time, Rennie Harlan. Samuel L. Jackson playing a blinder, I think one of the staple performances that's helped propel his career. And who can forget Brian Cox? Brian Cox is in it.
Not that one, the other one.
Not the professor, the actor one. And I have to say, I'm a fan of the Cox. I'm a big Cox fan. Anytime Cox is on, I have to watch.
Do you think you could handle two Coxes or just one Cox at a time?
Just the one. He is the one Cox for me.
Yeah, but you're saying that Cox. What about Dewey Cox?
No.
Not the music. Fair enough.
No.
He draws a line. He draws a line at three Cox.
I draw the line 3. Brian Cox. I don't know if you guys watch Succession. I absolutely love Succession. And Brian Cox is just fantastic. And again, it's that bit in The Long Kiss Goodnight that always cracks me up. Where Brian Cox, he's like the retired super agent or secret agent holder or whatever, and he's sitting in his living room with the wife, and the wife has the dog beside her, and the dog has just been constantly licking at its ass, and he's like, look, either that dog has got rid of whatever it is, or he's just enjoying just doing that. So it's just, I don't do it justice, but brilliant film. I just love the action sequences on it. It's just a really great film.
It's Shane Black, isn't it? Writes the screenplay for that.
Yeah. I think it is, yeah.
No, it is.
Shane Black's Lethal Weapon, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he and I had a slight disagreement on Twitter over something. So I had suggested a possible team up on a film, and he was like, "Nope, not of the same. The people you suggested acting wise are not of the same caliber."
So who were the people?
It was a suggestion of a team up on a horror film, basically looking at having Cassandra Peterson working on a film, of Ira fame, and I've gone completely blank on the other person's name, which is terrible. She's in Reanimator, lady who's in Reanimator.
Barbara Crampton?
Yes. Thank you, Barbara Crampton. So team up between them, and he was just sort of saying that
that's how
Cassandra Peterson is not of the same caliber, which I thought was a rather harsh comment, but Fair enough.
80 Scream
Well,
Queens.
she's been in Hollywood now for what, 50 years? She was turned 70 or 71 this year, didn't she?
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that bad experience has swayed you, James.
Doesn't matter. That was my choice.
We seen how the painful memories of ex-girlfriends and Mamma Mia swayed James before. So that's all I'm saying.
But he might be a big Samuel L. Jackson fan.
Okay.
So,
yeah. Okay, but we don't know. Joe might have picked the film of films. Joe might have picked Cutthroat Island.
Who knows? Or Gladiator 3. Going by these picks. No, my final one, I know. I think when it came out, it was a real game changer, and it really still holds up today. Because I've rewatched it there recently, earlier this year. I have The Dark Knight. I still think, nothing has come close to it in terms of, superhero film. Like it, put it this way, there's nothing Marvel's produced that is anywhere near this level. Nothing comes close, because it's a film where it doesn't rely on a big flashy, like beam flashing in the sky for its third act, or some huge set piece with a city floating in the sky. None of that shit spectacle. It's down to, it's basically Heat with Batman and the Joker, and it's just bloody fantastic. And Aaron Eckhart's brilliant in it as well, and Maggie Gyllenhaal's great, and then you've Michael Caine, Morgan Freeman. It's just an absolutely brilliant cast. Oh, Gary Oldman as well. And I think it's still top tier Christopher Nolan. Some of the the chase scene in it, it's absolutely brilliant, and the way he practically flipped an 18-wheeler forward, you'll never get that anymore. It'll just be CG with an 18. If it was Marvel, it'd be an 18-wheeler doing flips upon flips, and then flying into space or something like that. There, just
because funny
nonsense. Just
to cut across you, Joe. I don't know. I'm nearly certain. Don't they do something similar in the last? Because I know you've seen it. I don't know for Bill and James, but they do something similar-ish in the last Fast and Furious movie, but it's so heavily CGI.
I've never seen any of them. So.
With the magnets and the trucks.
Yeah, and it's so heavily CGI, you just go, Nolan did it.
No. The thing is, but the difference is, you know what Fast and Furious is, and you know what you're going to get with it. Whereas there's all
family. That's what you're going to get. Family.
Jesus Christ.
Well, you're not going to get that with Bruce Willis. His family's dead.
Everywhere. I'll take my hat off to them on the Fast and the Furious. They've managed to create this giant franchise out of a film about
Break
cars.
remake. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's just.
But they said the problem on Fast and the Furious though is that it doesn't even match up to what it originally was set to be, which was about car racing and criminality.
No, they went from trying to catch a gang stealing video players to going into space. That's the leap it's made over 9 films. It's wild, but no, it's a bit of a guilty pleasure for me. I'm not gonna pretend I don't really like it or anything.
I have no problem with the Fast and Furious stuff.
Stupid it is. Yeah, exactly. I said the stupider the better.
I still think they should have finished it. I think the perfect ending was with the Paul Walker exit, and that was handled so well. But I think 8 was kind of a bit too clunky. 9 was just right, okay, I'm just going to leave my brain at the door here and just, right, okay, Ludacris is in space. Spoiler, sorry, but Ludacris is in space in a car. What else is there not to like? And we're going to get 10, 11, so hey, we're going to have enough films. We're going to see Charlize Theron probably become a goodie by the end of those films.
Put in time travel and I'm there for it.
And there's spin-offs now, isn't there, as well?
Yeah, Hobbs and Shaw. Because Dwayne The Rock and Vin Diesel don't get on, so they can't be on the same screen anymore. But that's that. That's it. I mean, that's the rivalry between Dwayne The Rock and Vin Diesel. But James, you've got to come down between these 3 guys. Where are you going to weigh in it? Are you going to go with the ultimate rom-com? Are you going to go with probably one of the greatest comic book movies of all time, or Bill's choice?
Way to undersell Bill.
Stick the knife in Bill and turn. I'm going to have to go with The Dark Knight.
Fucker.
Yeah. You're just as shit as me. I brought you down to my level, just like the Joker was trying to do with Batman.
Interesting though, The Dark Knight is the first film I ever saw as an IMAX film. Ever.
Really?
And
Yeah,
it was
first
shot
one I
with
ever saw an IMAX.
It was shot with IMAX cameras. That whole sequence with the truck was shot with IMAX cameras,
Yeah.
I think.
But I
Oh, was
remember
it?
sitting watching it and just thinking, I remember the opening shot and thinking, this does not feel like a comic book film. It just,
The
I
bank
was like,
robbery.
I'm like, yeah. And I was like, this is like a high, this is so different. It's like a heist film. But yeah, hell of a film. They're
Are
all
any-
very good choices for that final one, but that will be The Dark Knight for me.
It was my cockiness was my downfall. But just on that note, I'm starting to allow myself to get a little bit excited about the Batman next year with Robert Pattinson. I have confidence. As I said before, I could firmly believe, looking at poor old Arbat, he looks like someone who could be an orphan. So he has that look of someone that looks like, yeah, I could believe you being an orphan. I'm really intrigued by it. And
Who's directed it? Is it
It's
Matt Reeves?
Matt Reeves, who
Yeah,
did
Planet of
the
the Apes.
Planet of the Apes
Cloverfield?
movies. Yeah, I'm starting to get really. I'm not letting myself get excited. Let myself to get excited about it. But I've been to the IMAX now twice here in Belfast. Went to see West Side Story. Went to see Spider-Man, and both times they've played the Batman trailer on the big IMAX screen, and I had little tingles. And I know that's going to let myself end up being disappointed, but I just think it just looks like it's taken a step back. And I was reading an interview, I think, with Empire this week, where they were talking about how they have went back and looked at what Nolan did and how Nolan was quite content to not try and build up a big expanded universe. They're quite happy to build a world within Gotham and the Batman lore, and they want this to be a film about the villains and the rogues gallery. I'm hearing very intriguing rumours who may or may not be the Joker. If they do have the Joker, it might be, I can never say his surname. I've interviewed him a couple of times, Barry Keoghan, Irish actor, and I just think, I mean, it's like, I don't like Jared Leto's Joker. I fucking hate Jared Leto's Joker.
I like Jared Leto's Joker.
No.
I think it redeems itself.
You just want to get
himself.
upset, Jim, don't you? And say that this proves that my choices for this quiz have been completely wrong.
No. No, you see,
He redeems himself in the Snyder Cut. Definitely.
That's still
Yeah.
just as awful.
Yeah.
He's just as awful.
No.
That sticks out like
I
a sore
think
thumb,
it's,
that epilogue.
it's beautiful. I think it's lovely.
Do you know what?
See, I no.
just for that
Just love the
fucking,
description.
just for that stupid fucking line that everyone, and I know James Oliver, local blogger, just thinks what is it, the line that it thinks is one of the best lines in the film? It's like, never send, he's talking about Robin, never send a Robin to do a man's job. And it's just like,
you might never send a boy wonder to do a man's job.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh, fuck off. And then it's just there. It's just there for to hear Batfleck go, I will fucking kill you. And you're like, oh, fuck off. No one cares about the Snyder Cut. I took a real dislike to the Snyder Cut stuff because of not many, the vocal minority, the vocal wankers that were on social media campaigning for it and wanted it to be done. And they got what they wanted, and it's a better film, I give you, than what was served up. But it's so overblown, so overcooked, and so this sense of self-worthiness and the sense of, the burden of gods. And I wouldn't have minded it, but then that little final act, that epilogue, as if to kind of go, just the masturbatory fantasies of all those little fucking fanboys and fangirls who called for it. It's like, this is what we will never have. We want it to happen. And you're like, oh, fuck off. Just deal with it. The Batman's moved on, and we're going to have our Pat as Batman. And yes, I know he's a shiny vampire. I have no problem as a shiny vampire. Robert Pattinson is an amazing actor, and I am really, really, really intrigued as to what he does. And plus, Colin Farrell just looks amazing as the Penguin.
He's like tuning the scenery in that trailer, and it just looks fucking brilliant.
I just love the trailer. He's like, I got you, and you just see the car. And I know it's not a big over the top Batmobile in the trailers for it, but I love it. It's real kind of year one vibes, and I can't. I'm stupidly allowing myself to get excited, and I'll probably be left disappointed. But I don't think I will. I really don't think. I hope and pray, Matt, if you're watching, don't let me down.
I want to be proven wrong.
Yeah. Well, I've heard it's like Zodiac mixed with a Batman film. I'm like, yep, sign me up for that. Perfect.
Yep. Because he is the world's greatest detective.
Yep.
And he's up against the Riddler, who's obviously leaving like Zodiac like clues for him.
And no other film apart from Nolan, apart from The Dark Knight, really has properly tried to explore the fact that Batman is a detective.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's the ballistics and that's about it.
Although the thing with the gun still confuses me every time. I just have to go, right, I'm just going to go with it. Is that he gets the thumbprint from the
thumbprint on the,
and it's just like, right, I'm just gonna have to go with this, Chris. I'm just gonna have to go with it. Every time it's like I still don't understand it. I'm a bit like, is it Peter Griffin in Family Guy when or is it Homer when he's watching Twin Peaks and it's like brilliant. I have no idea. That's me every time. It's like I'm sure Chris can explain it to me, but I don't get it. I don't understand how it works, but it's fine. So yeah, it's Joe and I we're both in last position, equal last. Bill, we are going to wrap up. Do you have any kind of, do you want to make a winner's speech for the now 4 years undefeated? We repeat this, 4 years he claims.
See, normally I would have got something like Quality Street or something.
That's
winning.
True. That's what COVID has kind of deprived you of.
So
I think as a prize, what we will do is we will send you, we'll not give them away as a prize, we will send you as your winning prize this year, the DVDs that Joe has picked.
No, he's only getting one.
Gladiator?
I'm going to pick it at random.
It's Mamma Mia, I bet you.
Oh, no. And then you can suss out your old neighbours and give them Gladiator.
Yeah. If you were Bill Taylor's former neighbours and you really like amorous, loud, vocal sex, get in touch and we'll send you a copy of Gladiator.
Give me your address.
Yeah.
That's not dodgy at all. Just give me your address.
Yeah. So what is Bill? This is going to get a bit like Bullseye now. It's like you've won a speedboat and you're in the Midlands. Yeah. What prize is Bill taking home tonight, Joe?
He's taking home Mamma Mia.
Oh, good.
You know what?
Excellent choice.
Take home the lot. Take home the lot. It's £8 worth of DVDs. What more can you want, Bill?
You've went a bit like kind of Gay Burden, kind of on the Late Show and the toy. There's one for everyone in the audience. I don't know where I went with that accent. But
only
anyway,
Bill is the audience.
Yeah, only Bill. Yeah, there we go. It doesn't really work. It's like Oprah. You get a DVD. You get a DVD. You get a DVD. We'll all each individually get a DVD.
It's me just frisbeeing them all to Bill.
Yeah. Boom, doom.
And I watch them just to spite you.
I don't think you would.
You know what, I might even send. I'm going to send you over Basic Instinct from last year as well.
No, that's mine. That's mine.
He's got dibs on that.
That's the only thing, though. It might not be 4K though, so it might not be pixel perfect for certain screens.
But it adds a certain skeeziness to it. It's like, look at that.
Yeah. Did you say 4K or 4Play?
Yeah. Hey, I was a teenage boy once, and I can hear my lovely Dachshund now deciding to finally, as we approach the end of this pod, I can hear the lovely Dachshund deciding to bark because he wants a copy of Basic Instinct too. Mm-hmm. Maybe he wants Mamma Mia, I don't know. But look, I think we shall wrap this pod up. It's been a blast, as always. Always love doing this pod. It's always a lot of fun. It's not too serious, and we get to ramble more so than usual. So very quickly, I will congratulate and thank our winner again, our 4 times winner, Bill Taylor.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's a lot of effort as always.
Yeah. I thought you maybe want to thank God.
I would like to thank
my mom,
Baby Jesus,
yeah.
Teenage Jesus, and Middle-aged Jesus.
Yeah.
You'd be thanking me.
And all
I picked you to win it.
Yeah, thanks to James. I'll have tickets in the post.
Yeah, there we go.
And check is cleared.
Yeah, check is cleared. Joe, I'd like to thank you. Maybe next year, Joe. Maybe next year.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I'll venture into CX and try not to die.
I've thanked my two fellow comrades on this episode, but I also want to thank our special guest, our judge for this year. James, thank you again for being our judge, I'd love to say impartial judge, but I think you've been swayed a few times, good sir.
I couldn't possibly comment other than just saying thank you so much for having me on. This has been fun. Some of it's been emotionally difficult for me, with memories that have resurfaced that I pushed all the way to the bottom, but with indefinite, amounts of counselling, I'll power through.
It's okay. We all had a crush on Kim Cattrall when we were younger, and just because we thought about the sexy Kim Cattrall, that's we've all been there. We're all teenage boys once, James.
That's true.
That is true. So look, that is us. All that is really left for me to do now is thank you very much for listening. I hope you all have a happy, safe Christmas or whatever you're going to be celebrating over this period. Watch some movies. As I said in the TV show this week, it's a lot of doom and gloom out there, and cinema, whether it's at the cinema, at home, a DVD or anything, it can take you even for a little bit away from all the doom and gloom. So stay safe and have a good Christmas, as I say, and we'll be back soon with another podcast. But for now, until then, goodbye.
This has been We Need to Talk About Movies. Thanks for listening. For more information, visit banterflix.com. See you next time.